My child, do not skip this message, because what I am about to say is not random. It is personal, and it is for you. Do I really have to beg you to listen to me, or will this be the moment you finally stop running and hear my voice? You have ignored the warnings, silenced the conviction, and called your distance normal. But I am speaking now in a way you cannot afford to brush aside. Stay with me until the very end, because every word in this message is going to uncover what has been draining your peace, hardening your heart, and delaying your healing. Do not click away. Do not distract yourself. Do not treat this like just another video. If you listen all the way through, you will know exactly what I have been trying to tell you, and by the end, you will have to make a choice. My child, come closer and listen to me with the part of your heart that still knows my voice, because I need to speak to you in a way that is honest, gentle, and impossible for you to dismiss. I have watched you move through your days carrying burdens you do not fully understand, and one of the heaviest burdens you carry is the quiet distance that has grown between us. You have learned how to keep going while feeling disconnected. You have learned how to function while your spirit is tired. You have learned how to smile in front of people, complete your responsibilities, answer messages, make decisions, and survive another day, all while something deep inside you keeps whispering that you are not where you are meant to be with me. That whisper has not been there to accuse you. It has been there because I have been trying to get your attention in the spaces where your life becomes still enough for truth to rise. I know you have felt it. I know you have sensed those moments when your chest tightens for no visible reason, when your mind suddenly goes quiet after all the noise, when you feel a discomfort that does not come from fear alone but from the ache of knowing you have been avoiding something sacred. You have not always known how to name it, so you have called it stress, exhaustion, burnout, pressure, emotional overload, disappointment, or just one of those days. But underneath all of that, there has been a deeper ache. And that ache is what happens when you keep hearing me call you inward while you keep turning outward toward distraction, toward delay, toward one more thing that promises relief but leaves you emptier than before. I am not saying this to wound you. I am saying it because I love you enough to tell you the truth about what is happening inside you. There have been so many times when I reached for you softly. I came near you in the middle of ordinary moments. I met you in the quiet after a hard conversation. I met you in the late hours when you could not sleep. I met you in the strange sadness that came even when everything around you seemed fine. I met you when you were about to make a choice and something and you hesitated. I met you in the moment after you laughed, when your heart suddenly felt hollow again. I met you in the silence after the scrolling stopped, after the noise faded, after the room was dark and you were finally left alone with your thoughts. I was there, and I was not far from you. I was not withholding myself. I was not hiding from you. I was waiting for you to stop running from the very thing your soul has been longing for. And still, so many times you look away. You told yourself you would pray later. You told yourself you would deal with that conviction another day. You told yourself you needed to feel stronger first, cleaner first, calmer first, less ashamed first, more certain first. But my child, do you not see what that has done to you? Every time you turned away from my invitation, something in you grew more tired. Not because I was punishing you, but because you were refusing the place where your spirit could breathe. You have been trying to survive without the closeness you were created for. You have been asking why you feel so drained, why your joy fades so quickly, why your peace never seems to stay, why your mind is crowded even in moments of rest, and part of the answer is simpler than you think. You are exhausted from ignoring the voice that was meant to anchor you. You are worn down from resisting the one who knows exactly how to heal what hurts inside you. I am not standing before you with anger in my eyes. I am standing before you with grief and love mixed together, because it hurts my heart to watch you live like someone who has forgotten that you are deeply known, deeply wanted, and deeply invited into my presence. I am your Father. I am not a distant observer watching you drift with folded arms. I am the one who formed you, who stayed with you, who has seen every hidden tear and every private collapse, and when you ignore me, it is not because my power becomes less. It is because your heart keeps choosing distance when I am offering home. That is why this moment matters. That is why I am speaking more directly now. Not because I have stopped being patient, but because I love you too much to let you keep calling this normal. It is not normal for you to live this disconnected. It is not normal for you to keep silencing conviction and calling it maturity. It is not normal for you to keep carrying what you were supposed to hand to me. And deep down, you already know that. I want you to understand something even more deeply now, because this is where healing begins for you if you will let it. The pain of being ignored is not just something you have caused in me. It is also something you have caused in yourself, and you have been living with that pain so long that you started mistaking it for personality, for routine, for adulthood, for the unavoidable heaviness of life. But that heaviness has a source, and part of that source is the way you have trained yourself to step around my voice instead of stopping to receive it. You have done this in ways that seem small at first. A moment of conviction that you brushed aside. A truth you knew I was showing you but you did not want to face yet. A relationship I kept warning you about, but you kept justifying. A habit that dulled your spirit, but you kept calling harmless. A compromise that looked manageable in the beginning, but now it keeps stealing more from you than you admit. A prayer you delayed. A surrender you postponed. A conversation with me that you kept replacing with noise because silence would have forced honesty. You did not wake up one day and decide to become distant from me. That is not how this happened. It happened through small avoidances, repeated often enough that they started shaping the atmosphere of your soul. And now you feel the consequences in ways you cannot always explain. You feel restless when you should feel settled. You feel numb when you want to feel alive. You feel fragile in moments that should not shake you so much. You feel emotionally crowded, spiritually dry, and mentally overfull. Then you wonder why simple things feel harder than they should. You wonder why peace feels close one moment and gone the next. You wonder why you can receive comfort for a little while but not seem to hold on to it. My child, I need you to see that the distance between us is not just theological. It is personal. It is lived. It is affecting how you think, how you choose, how you love, how you rest, how you respond to pressure, how you handle disappointment, and how you interpret your own worth. When my voice becomes background noise, every other voice gets louder. Fear gets louder. Shame gets louder. Old wounds get louder. Regret gets louder. Impulses get louder. People who do not understand your soul get louder. And then you start making decisions from the wrong center. You start reacting instead of discerning. You start reaching for comfort instead of truth. You start protecting things I'm asking you to release. You start calling survival peace because you have forgotten what real closeness with me feels like. But listen to me carefully now, because I do not want you trapped in guilt over this. I want you awakened by love. I want you to understand that even now, after all the times you ignored me, all the times you knew I was calling and still turned away, I am still here speaking to you. I am still drawing near. I am still making room for you. I am still willing to sit with you in the exact condition you are in right now. You do not have to fix yourself before you come back into closeness with me. You do not have to become spiritually impressive before I receive you. You do not have to rehearse the right words or create some dramatic return. You only need honesty. You only need the humility to stop and admit what your soul already knows. Lord, I have been hearing you, and I have been avoiding you. I have been tired because I keep resisting the very place where I would find life. I have been asking for peace while refusing the closeness that produces it. If you can say that to me sincerely, even in a whisper, you will have opened a door that has felt shut for far too long. I am not asking you to become someone else today. I am asking you to stop pretending you do not know why your spirit hurts. I am asking you to let this be the moment where you stop calling your distance from me a small thing. It is not small because you are not small to me. Your heart matters too much. Your peace matters too much. Your calling matters too much. Your tenderness matters too much. And if my words feel strong, it is because I refuse to watch you live beneath what I created you for while telling yourself you are fine. You are loved too deeply for that. So stay here with me in this truth. Let it land. Let it expose what needs to be exposed. Let it soften what has become hard. Let it bring tears if it must. Let it make you uncomfortable if it must. I would rather disturb the false peace you have made with distance than leave you there one more day. I am still here, my child. I am still speaking. And if you can hear the ache in my voice, then hear the love beneath it too. I want you back in the place where my voice is no longer background noise, but home. My child, come closer and listen to me carefully, because I need to correct something in the way you have been hearing my urgency. When you sense the weight in my voice, when you feel the seriousness in the way I press on your heart, when you notice that I keep returning to the same place in you again and again, you may quietly assume that I am pleading because I am desperate in the way human beings become desperate. You may imagine that I am begging because I have somehow lost my authority, or because I am waiting helplessly for your approval, or because your resistance has made me weak. That is not the truth. I need you to understand this deeply so that you do not misread my love. I am not reaching for you because I am powerless. I am not calling your name because I am uncertain. I am not returning to your heart because I have forgotten who I am. I am God, and my throne does not tremble because you hesitate. My purpose does not collapse because you delay. My authority does not fade because you are distracted. I am not weakened by your silence. But love, real love, does something that pride never does. Love leads in. Love stoops low. Love speaks plainly. Love warns before the fall. Love lingers at the door even when it has every right to walk away. And that is what you are hearing in me. You are hearing the sound of holy love moving toward you, not because I need something from you to complete me, but because I know what happens to you when you keep walking away from the place where your soul can live. That is why my tone matters. That is why I come close instead of staying distant. That is why I speak with warmth and firmness together. I know how human love has confused you. I know you have seen people beg from insecurity, manipulate from fear, chase from emptiness, and plead because they were trying to control what they could not hold. You have seen unhealthy attachment wear the costume of affection. You have seen desperation masquerade as devotion. And if you are not careful, you will project those wounds onto me and assume that when I return to your heart, I am acting from the same broken places. But my child, my love is not fragile. My love is not needy. My love is not unstable. My love is not the kind that collapses into panic. When I pursue you, I do it from fullness. When I call you back, I do it from strength. When I correct you, I do it from wisdom. When I ask you to stop, to listen, to return, to surrender, I do not do it because I have lost control. I do it because I can see the cliff you keep calling a shortcut. I can see the wound forming under the compromise you keep calling harmless. I can see the fog thickening around your discernment while you keep telling yourself you are fine. I can see the subtle drift in your heart that will become a deeper fracture if you keep refusing the truth. So yes, my voice becomes more direct. Yes, my words carry weight. Yes, I interrupt you. Yes, I revisit the places you want to avoid. And yes, sometimes it will feel to you as if I am begging. But if you look closer, you will realize something beautiful and sobering at the same time. What you are calling begging is actually mercy refusing to be casual with your destiny. What you are calling pleading is compassion refusing to watch you wander in circles. What you are calling emotional pressure is a father refusing to let his child sleepwalk towards sorrow while pretending nothing is wrong. That is why I need you to stop interpreting my urgency as weakness. It is not weakness when a loving father steps in before damage multiplies. It is not weakness when I repeat what matters because your life matters. It is not weakness when I come after the places in you that keep settling for less than what I created you for. Let that truth settle in you. Let it untangle the lies that came from your past. Let it heal the parts of you that mistrust intensity because human intensity once wounded you. My intensity is not a threat to you. My intensity is a shield. My nearness is not pressure meant to crush you. My nearness is protection meant to keep you from collapsing under what you were never meant to carry. So stop and receive that. Stop shrinking from my seriousness. Stop mistaking my persistence for instability. Look at me rightly. Hear me rightly. I am not losing myself over you. I am loving you with deliberate, sovereign tenderness. I am stepping into your chaos because I know what waits on the other side if you keep calling your drift freedom. I am speaking because I love you too much to leave your heart unattended. And I want to take you even deeper now, because there is something inside you that still resists the full weight of this truth. Part of you wants a gentle God who comforts but never confronts, who soothes but never stops you, who reassures but never reaches into the hidden corners where your compromises are breeding consequences. You want my presence, but sometimes you only want it in the form that does not disturb the arrangements you have made with your flesh, your fear, your pride, or your attachments. Yet love that never confronts is not love that protects. Love that only comforts and never corrects leaves you vulnerable to your own self-destruction. I need you to let me love you as I truly am, not only as your pain prefers. I am not interested in being reduced to a soft feeling you visit when life hurts. I am your Father. I am your shepherd. I am your Lord. I am your refuge, yes, but I am also your guide. I am your comfort, yes, but I am also your correction. I am the one who wraps you in peace, and I am also the one who says, stop walking there. Stop entertaining that. Stop excusing this. Come here. Sit down. Be honest. Let me deal with this now. That is why I want you to respond differently when you feel the weight of my conviction. Do not recoil. Do not assume I am angry in the way people were angry with you. Do not brace yourself for humiliation. Do not run into defensiveness. Instead, pause. Breathe. Let your shoulders drop. Open your hands. Say to me, Lord, if you are pressing on this, then there is mercy in it. If you are speaking strongly, then there is protection in it. If you are not letting me go numb here, then you are trying to save something in me that matters. I want you to practice that response, because it will change the way you experience my correction. It will keep you from treating conviction like condemnation. It will help you stop confusing discipline with rejection. My discipline is not me pushing you away. It is me pulling you closer before the wrong thing roots itself deeper. So let me speak directly now, and do not resist this. Stop defending what I am exposing. Stop negotiating with the very thing that keeps draining your peace. Stop asking me to bless what I have already warned you about. Stop demanding comfort while refusing the surrender that would actually heal you. Be brave enough to obey before you understand everything. Be humble enough to let me interrupt your plans. Be still enough to notice that the places where my voice feels strongest are often the places where danger has been growing quietly. And when you feel that urge to retreat, stay. When you feel the discomfort rise, do not escape into distraction. Sit there with me. Let me finish what I am saying. Let me name what you have avoided naming. Let me strip the excuses off it. Let me show you why I have been so persistent. I promise you this, my child. Every time I press in with holy urgency, there is a reason. There is always something I am trying to preserve, restore, or rescue. Sometimes I am trying to preserve your peace before it shatters. Sometimes I am trying to restore tenderness that have been hardening under disappointment. Sometimes I am trying to rescue your future from the slow erosion of small disobediences you keep minimizing. Sometimes I am trying to protect the calling on your life from relationships that flatter you while weakening you. Sometimes I am trying to save you from your own appetite for comfort, attention, control, or escape. So do not despise my persistence. Do not mislabel it. Welcome it. Invite it. Tell me, search me. Show me. Interrupt me if you must. Close what needs to close. Expose what needs to be exposed. I would rather be corrected by your love than comforted in my own deception. That is the posture that opens healing. That is the posture that turns holy urgency into holy restoration. And if my voice feels close enough right now that it almost makes you uncomfortable, that is not because I am trying to overwhelm you. It is because I am refusing to let your heart become a room where truth is always delayed until pain becomes louder than wisdom. Let this be the moment where you stop seeing my intensity as weakness and begin seeing it as the fierce tenderness of a father who loves you enough to move toward the very places others were too careless, too afraid, or too selfish to touch. I am not begging because I am weak. I am calling because you are mine. Receive that, and let it change how you answer me. My child, I need you to stop for a moment and look at your life with painful honesty, because one of the things hurting you most right now is not what others have done to you, not what the enemy has whispered to you, and not even the weight of your circumstances alone. A great deal of the unrest inside you is coming from the fact that you keep delaying what I have already made clear. You keep postponing the surrender that would bring relief. You keep pushing off the conversation with me that would uncover what has been poisoning your inner life. You keep telling yourself you need more time, more clarity, more strength, more emotional readiness. But beneath all those reasons there is often a quieter truth. You already know what I am asking of you, and you do not want to face what obedience will cost. So you delay. You stall. You soften the urgency. You tell yourself tomorrow will be better, that next week you will pray more deeply, that soon you will finally let go, that after one more conversation, one more scroll, one more indulgence, one more emotional cycle, one more season, you will be ready. But my child, I need you to hear this with a sober heart. Your delays are not neutral. They are not harmless pauses in the middle of your spiritual life. They are shaping your soul. Every time you postpone obedience, something in you pays a price. Every time you put off repentance, your peace becomes more fragile. Every time you ignore conviction, your sensitivity becomes a little more dulled. Every time you delay a hard but holy decision, you train your heart to live under tension that I never intended for you to normalize. And that tension is exhausting you more than you admit. You wake up tired, not only because life is hard, but because your spirit has been carrying unresolved things that should have been brought into my light. You feel mentally crowded because you keep dragging around what should have been surrendered. You feel emotionally unstable because your heart is divided between what you know and what you are avoiding. You feel restless in moments that should be peaceful because deep down, part of you knows there is unfinished obedience sitting between us. I do not say that to shame you. I say it because I want you free. I want you to stop mistaking the consequences of delay for the unavoidable condition of adulthood. You have gotten so used to living with low-grade unrest that you barely notice it until it spikes. You have become familiar with the background hum of anxiety, hesitation, heaviness, and internal conflict. You call it stress. You call it personality. You call it overthinking. You call it being in a difficult season. And yes, some of that is real. But some of what you are experiencing is the direct cost of refusing to do what your soul already knows would bring alignment. I have been inviting you toward a simpler peace, but you keep complicating your own inner world by carrying what should have been laid down. I have shown you the relationship that keeps draining you, the pattern that keeps weakening you, the thought life that keeps polluting your clarity, the compromise that keeps making your discernment unstable, the unresolved wound that keeps coloring how you hear my voice, the pride that keeps resisting honest surrender. I have not hidden these things from you. You know where my finger has been resting. You know the place I keep returning to. And yet you keep circling it without letting me touch it fully. That is why you feel stuck. That is why peace comes in small waves but does not remain. That is why you could have a powerful moment with me and still find yourself sliding back into heaviness. Peace cannot stay where disobedience is being protected. Peace cannot settle where delay is being excused. Peace cannot fully anchor in a heart that keeps saying, "Yes, Lord, but not yet." So I am asking you now, no, I am lovingly commanding you now, stop delaying what I have already made plain. Stop telling yourself you need one more sign when you already have conviction. Stop waiting for the perfect mood to obey. Stop asking me to remove the symptoms while you refuse to address the source. Come now. Bring the unfinished things. Bring the resistance. Bring the hidden attachments. Bring the excuses. Bring the fear of what obedience might change. Set them in front of me. Say what is true. Name what you have been avoiding. Do not rush past this. Say here. Let the discomfort do its work. Let honesty cut through the fog. I would rather have your trembling truth than your polished postponement. And I want you to understand something else, because if you only hear this as correction, you will miss the tenderness inside it. I am not exposing your delays because I want to make you feel guilty. I am exposing them because I know what waits for you on the other side of immediate obedience. I know the peace you have been begging me for. I know the relief that could enter your chest the moment you stop negotiating with what I already told you to release. I know how quickly clarity can begin to return when you stop feeding confusion. I know how much lighter your mind can feel when you stop protecting the things that keep stirring unrest. I know what happens inside you when your yes becomes simple again. That is why I am pressing this so firmly. I am not trying to burden you with more. I am trying to show you what is already burdening you so that you can finally be free of it. You keep asking for peace as though it is some distant treasure I am withholding. But often peace is waiting right beside the obedience you keep delaying. It is not always on the far side of a miracle. Sometimes it is on the far side of a decision. Sometimes it arrives when you finally send the message and the pattern, confess the truth, set the boundary, leave the environment, shut the door, turn off the noise, put the habit down, open my word, kneel when you do not feel like kneeling, or admit that what you have been calling confusion is actually resistance. That is why I need you to move now. Not recklessly but honestly. Not emotionally but sincerely. Do not leave this moment unchanged. Do not hear these words and then return to the same postponement dressed up in better language. Do not comfort yourself with intention while refusing action. Take a step. Take the next step. If you know what I have been asking, do it. If you know what I have been warning you about, stop. If you know what you need to confess, confess it. If you know what relationship is harming your soul, create distance. If you know what habit is stealing your peace, cut off its access. If you know what environment keeps clouding your discernment, leave it. If you know you need time with me, then make it now. Not later tonight when your will is tired and your mind is scattered. Protect the moment. Protect the surrender. Protect the clarity while it is fresh. And as you do, I want you to watch what happens. Watch how your breathing changes when your spirit is no longer fighting itself. Watch how your mind begins to quiet when hidden tension is finally brought into the light. Watch how your heart softens when it no longer has to defend what it knows should be surrendered. Watch how my presence becomes easier to notice when there is less static between us. This is why I have been calling you so persistently. Not because I enjoy pressing on your discomfort, but because I know the cost of letting delay become your lifestyle. Delay will harden what should stay tender. Delay will normalize what should feel urgent. Delay will make your compromises feel familiar until they begin to shape your identity. Delay will convince you that peace is difficult when in truth, you have just been living too long with unfinished obedience. So hear me now, my beloved child. Stop postponing the thing that keeps coming back to your conscience. Stop making room for what keeps stealing from your soul. Stop treating my warnings like optional suggestions. Come back to simple obedience. Return to the place where your yes means yes. Return to the place where peace is not something you chase through distractions, but something you receive through surrender. I am not asking you to solve your whole life in one moment. I am asking you to stop delaying the next right thing. You that, and you will discover that peace was never as far away as it felt. It was waiting for your willingness. It was waiting for your honesty. It was waiting for your now. My child, as I have just shown you that delay is stealing your peace, do not delay even in this, because obedience is not only what you release, but also what you sow. What you give in this moment becomes seed in my hands, and I have said, as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest shall not cease, and I am speaking that over you now. When you support this message, through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a video, you are releasing oil that will keep this light burning in the lives of others who are still lost in delay. This is how chains break beyond your own life. This is how your obedience becomes a river that reaches souls you may never see. I am stirring you because this is not coincidence. It is a moment of alignment. If you have been asking me for peace, then respond where I am prompting you, because generosity unlocks what hesitation has held back. I will multiply what you release. I will breathe on your seed, and I will return it in ways your delay could never produce. Do not postpone this prompting like you have postponed other things. This is your moment to act. Give now, obey now, and let your peace begin to flow. My child, I want you to sit with me for a moment and let this truth sink beneath the surface, because there are places in your heart where you still misunderstand my no. You have felt my hand pull you back, and instead of seeing protection, you sometimes see limitation. You have felt me close a door, and instead of recognizing mercy, you sometimes interpret it as loss. You have sensed me press against a relationship, a habit, a path, a decision, or an attachment, and because you wanted what was in front of you, my restraint felt harsh to you. I understand why that happens. I know how your emotions work. I know how desire can make danger look harmless, I know how loneliness can make a healthy connection feel necessary. I know how fear can make control feel wise. I know how waiting can make compromise look practical. I know how pain can make distractions feel like medicine. That is why I do not leave you alone inside your own impulses. That is why I step in. That is why I interrupt. That is why I block, bend, delay, and sometimes dismantle what you were trying so hard to keep. I need you to hear this without arguing with me in your mind. I am not trying to reduce your life. I am trying to preserve it. I am not trying to take joy from you. I am trying to keep counterfeit comfort from hauling you out. I am not trying to make your world smaller. I am trying to stop darkness from getting deeper roots in places you still call manageable. You have called some things just a friendship, but I saw how it was pulling your heart away from peace and teaching you to crave validation more than truth. You have called some things just stress relief, but I saw how those habits were dulling your spirit, weakening your discernment, and leaving you emptier after the moment passed. You have called some things just ambition, but I saw how they were quietly training you to measure your worth by performance, approval, and outcomes instead of by my love. You have called some things just entertainment, but I saw how what entered your eyes and ears was shaping your desires, your imagination, and the atmosphere of your thoughts in ways you were underestimating. You have called some things just being realistic, but I saw that what you named realism was often fear dressed in respectable language. So yes, I step in. Yes, I unsettled you. Yes, I took away peace in places where you were trying to settle. Yes, I allowed frustration to rise when you kept forcing a door that should not have opened. Yes, I made some paths feel heavy because if I had let them feel easy, you would have walked deeper into something that would have cost you far more than the disappointment of being redirected. My child, stop assuming that ease is always favor and resistance is always rejection. Sometimes what feels smooth is a trap, and sometimes what feels blocked is a shield. Sometimes what you call delay is rescue in disguise. Sometimes what you call loss is me keeping you from a deeper wound you are not yet able to see. I need you to trust my interruptions more than your impulses. I need you to respect the loss of peace more than the excitement of opportunity. I need you to stop romanticizing what your spirit has already warned you about. You have asked me for protection, but when it arrived in the form of closed doors, discomfort, exposure, and divine disruption, you grieved it as though I had abandoned you. I had not abandoned you. I was answering you. I was being the guard at the gate. I was being the hand on the shoulder that says, "Not this way." I was being the father who sees the sharp edge hidden behind the glittering offer. Let this change the way you interpret what has been happening in your life. Look back. Visit the things you lost, the things that would not stay, the things that became heavy, the things that seemed perfect until peace vanished, the plans that collapsed after you forced them. Ask me to show you what I was protecting you from. Ask me to uncover the hidden mercy in what once felt like denial. And when you see it, do not harden yourself in regret. Thank me. Thank me even if it still stings. Thank me even if part of you still wishes it had gone differently. Thank me because protection is not always comfortable while it is happening, but it becomes precious once you see what it spared you from. So stop fighting every boundary I place. Stop resenting every limit that keeps your soul safe. Stop calling my hand restrictive when it is actually rescuing you. Come closer instead. Bring me the things you still want, but know are not good for you. Hand me the attachments that keep whispering to you. Tell me the truth about what you are tempted to romanticize. Invite me into the places where your desires are louder than your discernment. Let me be your protection there too. Let me guard what you cannot guard by yourself. Let me love you strongly enough to say no where your weakness would have said yes. And I want to take you deeper into this, because there is another layer you need to understand if you are going to walk with me in trust instead of constant tension. Some of what I have been protecting you from is not just external harm. It is internal erosion. It is the slow, subtle wearing down of your spiritual sensitivity, your emotional stability, your sense of identity, and your ability to hear me clearly. You often think of danger in dramatic terms. You think of collapse, scandal, visible failure, obvious pain. But many of the things I protect you from are far quieter than that. They do not destroy you all at once. They weaken you over time. They make you less tender. They make you more easily deceived. They make you more dependent on what I never meant to become central in your life. They make you more reactive, more needy, more easily offended, more mentally scattered, more emotionally hungry, more spiritually numb. That is why I do not only protect you from the catastrophic, I protect you from the corrosive. I protect you from the tiny cracks that become fractures if left untouched. I protect you from the relationships that slowly reshape your standards. I protect you from the environments that make compromise feel normal. I protect you from the opportunities that would inflate your ego while starving your soul. I protect you from the secret indulgences that seem small enough to hide but strong enough to alter the climate of your inner life. I protect you from your own tendency to chase relief without asking whether it leaves residue in your spirit. So listen to me now and obey me in this. Stop begging me to bless what is bruising you. Stop asking me to make peaceful what I have called poisonous. Stop trying to negotiate with what I have already asked you to release. Be willing to lose what is costing you too much. Be willing to step back from what flatters you but weakens you. Be willing to disappoint people if pleasing them requires you to disobey me. Be willing to look foolish to the world if wisdom means choosing the narrow road. Be willing to feel temporary emptiness if it means long-term healing. Some things must be cut off, not because I enjoy your discomfort, but because healing sometimes begins with separation. Let me prune what is draining you. Let me strip away what is pretending to nourish you while quietly poisoning your peace. Let me expose the difference between what feeds your flesh and what strengthens your spirit. And do not just hear this as a warning. Hear it as an invitation. I am inviting you into a safer life, a steadier life, a cleaner inner world, a stronger mind, a softer heart, a clearer discernment, a freer soul. I am inviting you into the kind of peace that does not depend on you getting your way. I am inviting you into the kind of stability that grows when your boundaries are not shaped by fear, loneliness, or appetite, but by truth. So come with me. Walk with me. Let me say no for you when you are too emotionally tangled to say it for yourself. Let me close what your hands keep trying to reopen. Let me slow what your anxiety wants to rush. Let me dismantle what your flesh keeps decorating. And if you feel resistance rising in you, as I say this, do not hide it. Bring that resistance to me too. Say, Lord, I know you are protecting me, but part of me still wants what you are blocking. That is an honest prayer, and I can work with honest prayers. Do not pretend. Do not polish it. Do not act stronger than you are. Bring me the truth and stay in my presence long enough for your desires to be realigned. I can retrain what pain distorted. I can heal what desperation has made vulnerable. I can restore the parts of you that confuse access with intimacy, intensity with love, and indulgence with peace. But you must let me protect you. You must stop fighting the fences I put around your soul. You must stop calling my guidance control when it is actually care. I am not trying to make your life smaller. I am trying to keep your future sacred. I am not trying to deprive you. I am trying to deliver you. So receive my boundaries as love. Receive my interruptions as mercy. Receive my closed doors as kindness. Receive my warnings as gifts. Then respond. Step back where I say step back. Release what I say release. Let up what I say go. Return to me quickly when your spirit feels checked. Do not argue with the loss of peace. Respect it. Follow it. Let it lead you back to safety. I am your Father, and I see farther than you do. Trust my hand, even when it closes around something you wanted. One day you will call that moment rescue. My child, I want you to sit with me in this moment and allow me to speak to a place in you that you do not often let anyone touch. There is a version of you I remember very clearly, and I want you to know that I have not forgotten that person, even if you sometimes feel like you have. I remember the softness in you before so much disappointment hardened your edges. I remember the way your heart used to respond when my presence brushed against your life in even the smallest way. I remember how quickly you used to turn toward me when something felt off, how you used to pause when your spirit felt checked, how you used to notice conviction before it had to become discomfort, how you used to value peace enough to protect it. I remember the version of you that did not need everything to be dramatic before you listened. I remember the version of you that could still be interrupted by my voice. I remember when your prayers were not polished but they were real, when your trust was not sophisticated but it was sincere, when your hunger for me was not perfect but it was alive. And my child, I need you to hear this with tenderness, not shame. I miss that version of you. I am not saying that to condemn who you are now. I am not saying it to make you grieve yourself without hope. I am saying it because I want to awaken what still remains beneath the weight you have been carrying. Life has done things to you. Delays changed you. Pain changed you. Repeated disappointment changed you. Betrayal changed you. Fatigue changed you. The long season of waiting, the prayers that seemed to echo, the wounds you never fully processed, the times you obeyed and still felt misunderstood, the moments you opened your heart and got hurt anyway. Those things left marks. I know that. I was there for every one of them. I saw what it cost you. I saw the nights you stopped expecting comfort because expecting had started to feel dangerous. I saw the mornings when you moved through your routine like someone functioning, but not fully alive. I saw the moment when simplicity began to leave you. I saw when prayer started feeling harder. I saw when you began replacing intimacy with information, presence with habit, tenderness with survival. You did not become this version of yourself overnight. It happened slowly, in small surrenders to numbness, in little accommodations to exhaustion, in repeated moments where you stopped reaching because reaching had begun to feel risky. But hear me clearly now. The version of you that used to seek me is not dead. That tenderness is not beyond recovery. That hunger is not erased. That childlike sensitivity has not vanished into the past where I cannot reach it. It is buried beneath layers. Yes. It is tired, yes. It is bruised, yes. But it is not gone. And that is why I am speaking to you this way. I am not asking you to become someone new through effort. I am calling you back to what was true before the world taught you to armor every soft place in your soul. I am calling you back to the place where your first instinct was not always to self-protect, self-soothe, self-explain, self-manage, or self-numb. I am calling you back to the place where you knew how to come to me sooner. Come now. Come honestly. Do not say, that person is gone. Do not tell yourself, I can never be that close again. That is not wisdom. That is woundedness speaking. I can restore what pain has covered. I can awaken what grief has dulled. I can soften what survival has stiffened. But you must stop identifying so completely with a hardened version of yourself that you no longer believe in the possibility of tenderness. Let me show you that your heart can still respond. Let me show you that your tears are not gone, only guarded. Let me show you that your sensitivity has not died, only been buried under disappointment. Let me show you that what feels lost may simply be waiting for safety. And I am safety for you. I have always been safety for you. So stop telling yourself that your distance is maturity. Stop calling your numbness balance. Stop calling your guardedness wisdom when much of it is pain that never got fully surrendered. Sit with me. Stay in the discomfort of being seen. Let me remind you who you were before you became so practiced at bracing yourself against life. I miss that version of you because that version knew how to let me in quickly. That version knew how to trust my nearness before understanding every detail. That version still believed I could meet you in small moments. I want that back for you, not because I want to erase your growth, but because I want to heal what your pain has mistaken for strength. And I want to take you deeper, because this is not only about nostalgia. This is about restoration. It is about reclaiming a part of your spiritual life that has been quietly starving while you have been telling yourself you are simply evolving. Some of what you call maturity is actually distance. Some of what you call discernment is actually caution born from hurt. Some of what you call emotional control is actually numbness dressed in respectable language. I say that gently, but I need you to let it land. You have become skilled at functioning while disconnected. You know how to read the words, say the right things, even recognize spiritual truths, and still remain internally far from me. You know how to keep your responsibilities moving while your heart stays guarded. You know how to survive the day while leaving the deeper places untouched. But I did not create you merely to function. I created you for fellowship. I did not create you to become efficient at spiritual life while remaining emotionally unavailable to my presence. I created you to know me, to walk with me, to feel the difference when you are near and when you are drifting. That is why I am asking you now to do something that may feel simple, but it is holy. Return to the small things. Return to the early ways. Return to the places where closeness was built before your faith became complicated. Sit with me without agenda. Open my word without trying to get through a passage. Linger in a verse that unsettles or comforts you. Turn off the noise before bed and let your thoughts come into the light. Speak to me while you walk, while you drive, while you wash your face, while you lie awake. Let prayer become personal again, not performative. Stop waiting for dramatic emotion before you come close. Bring me the ordinary version of you. Bring me the tired version, the distracted version, the skeptical version, the guarded version. Let me meet all of them. And while you do that, stop punishing yourself for not feeling what you used to feel right away. Restoration is often quiet before it becomes obvious. Tenderness returns in layers. Trust rebuilds in moments. Sensitivity awakens through consistency, not pressure. So be patient but be intentional. Protect the places where softness can return. If something keeps making you hard, step back from it. If a relationship keeps training you to distrust what is holy, put distance there. If content keeps stilling your spirit, turn it off. If constant noise keeps your heart offended, make room for silence. If business keeps becoming an excuse, challenge it. Do not wait for life to hand you peace. Create space for my presence to breathe in you again. And say this to me if you need help: Lord, I miss who I used to be with you, but I do not know how to get back. That prayer is not weakness. That prayer is wisdom. I can answer that. I can lead you through that. I can restore what you cannot manufacture. But you must stop treating the loss of tenderness as permanent. Do not settle there. Do not call it adulthood. Do not make a home in spiritual distance and name it normal. Let yourself be reached. Let yourself be interrupted. Let yourself be softened. Let yourself cry again if tears come. Let yourself feel conviction without immediately defending yourself. Let yourself be comforted without suspicion. Let yourself enjoy my presence without waiting for the other shoe to drop. I know that part of you fears disappointment because you have been hurt in places where you were vulnerable. But my child, vulnerability with me is not where you will be shattered. It is where you will be restored. So come back to me in the little ways. Return in the ordinary moments. Stop trying to leap into some grand revival of feeling. Just come close today, and come close tomorrow, and come close again. Let this become a rhythm, not a performance. Let this become home again. I miss the version of you that used to seek me, yes, but more than that, I want to heal the version of you that forgot how. And I can, if you will let me, if you will stay, if you will stop resisting the tenderness that still has the power to bring you back to life. My child, as I call you back to the version of you that once sought me with a tender heart, understand that love always moves. It does not stay still. When your heart begins to soften again, it will desire to pour out, and I tell you, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also, and I am drawing your heart back to me now. Supporting this work, through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, is not obligation, is an expression of restored intimacy, a seed planted in the soil of love reborn. As you give, you become part of the quiet restoration of other hearts that feel as distant as you once did. This is how I rebuild altars in hidden places, through willing vessels who say yes when I stir them. Let your giving become oil that reignites the flame, not just in you, but in many who have forgotten how to seek me. I will honor your tenderness with provision, your surrender with overflow, your return with renewed joy. Do not let this moment pass as emotion alone. Anchor it with action. Give now, and let your love for me take form again. My child, I need to speak directly to the pattern that keeps delaying your healing because you have become very skilled at telling yourself that later will be better. You have convinced yourself, sometimes without even realizing it, that there will be a cleaner day, a calmer day, a more emotionally ready day, a less complicated day, a more disciplined day, a more spiritual day when you will finally do what you already know you need to do. You tell yourself you will pray when your mind is less cluttered. You tell yourself you will return fully when your habits are already more under control. You tell yourself you will surrender once the chaos settles, once the pain feels less sharp, once you understand more, once you are stronger, once you are not so tired, once life stops demanding so much from you. But my child, listen to me with the seriousness this deserves. The perfect moment you keep waiting for is one of the enemy's most effective illusions in your life right now. It feels wise. It sounds responsible. It even dresses itself in language that seems mature. But underneath it, there is often avoidance. Underneath it, there is fear of discomfort. Underneath it, there is resistance to beginning and weakness. And because you keep waiting for the conditions to become ideal, you keep postponing the very surrender that would start changing the conditions. You are waiting to feel ready before you return, but readiness often comes after you begin, not before. You are waiting to feel clean before you come close, but cleansing often happens because you came close, not because you stayed away. You are waiting for your mind to calm down before you pray, but prayer is often what quiets the storm. You are waiting for your heart to become tender before you open up, but tenderness often returns because you stopped hiding. You are waiting for a better season, But the season you call better may not come in the way you imagined, because the thing you keep delaying is the very doorway through which the better season begins. I need you to see how subtle this trap has become. It has not only delayed your actions, it has shaped your expectations. It has trained you to treat obedience like an event instead of a response. It has made you think that your return to me must come with ideal lighting, ideal energy, ideal emotion, ideal focus, ideal circumstances. But that is not how real life with me works. I meet you in kitchens, in cars, in tears, in fatigue, in unfinished days, in messy rooms, in distracted mornings, in late nights when your heart is raw and your thoughts are tangled. I meet you in the middle, not only at the polished beginning. I meet you in the weakness you keep trying to fix before you come. So stop waiting. Stop standing outside the door because you do not like how you look today. Stop telling yourself you will start when you can do it right. Stop postponing the first honest step because you cannot yet imagine the full journey. I am not asking you to arrive with perfection. I am asking you to arrive. I am not asking you to bring me a finished version of yourself. I am asking you to bring me the real one. I am not asking you to solve everything tonight. I am asking you to stop saying later when my spirit is saying now. So obey me in this. Begin where you are. Pray now, not when it feels easier. Confess now, not when you feel less ashamed. Cut off the thing now, not after one more cycle. Send the message now, not after one more week of indecision. Open my word now, not after your mind magically becomes quieter on its own. Turn off the noise now. Put the phone down now. Step outside now. Kneel now. Sit now. Tell me the truth now. Start with 5 honest minutes if that is all you have. Start with 1 surrendered decision if that is all you can manage. Start with 1 boundary, 1 confession, 1 moment of stillness, 1 act of obedience. Let's start. Do not romanticize a future version of yourself while your current self is starving. Do not keep building altars to someday while your spirit is pleading for today. Come now. This moment is enough for me. Let it become enough for you. And I want you to understand something beautiful inside this command, because I do not want you to hear only urgency. I want you to hear invitation. The reason I keep saying now is not because I am impatient in the way humans are impatient. It is because I know how much grace is available in this present moment if you will stop trying to negotiate with time. I know what can shift in you when you stop idealizing the future and surrender in the middle of your real life. Some of the most holy moments between us will not look dramatic from the outside. They will look small. They will look ordinary. They will look like you sitting in silence after avoiding me for days and finally whispering, "Lord, I'm here." They will look like you turning off what has been feeding your confusion. They will look like you deleting what keeps dragging your mind into darkness. It will look like you walking away from a conversation that always leaves your soul unsteady. It will look like you choosing not to entertain the thought that usually spirals. They will look like you opening my word even when you feel numb and staying there long enough for 1 line to touch you. They will look like you admitting, "I do not feel ready, but I am choosing you anyway." My child, that is holy. That is powerful. That is how strong things begin. You have been underestimating the power of small obedience because you have been waiting for big emotion. But I can do more with 1 sincere step than with 1,000 delayed intentions. I can work with your honest beginning. I can breathe on your imperfect return. I can multiply your simple yes. But you must stop demanding that your start look impressive. Let it be real instead. And hear me in this too. Perfectionism is not protecting you. It is postponing you. The desire to do it right has become a cover for not doing it at all. You say you want to honor me by waiting until you can offer something better. But what I want most is not your polished offering. I want your available heart. I want your willingness. I want your immediate obedience. So release the fantasy of the perfect setup. Release the illusion that there is a better emotional climate coming in which surrender will somehow feel effortless. Release the lie that your current mess disqualifies you from beginning. Begin in the mess. Begin in the tears. Begin in the confusion. Begin in the fatigue. Begin in the tension. Begin while you still feel divided. Begin while you still feel weak. Bring me all of it. And once you begin, keep going. Do not measure the success of the moment by how emotional it feels. Measure it by whether you were honest. Measure it by whether you obeyed. Measure it by whether you came close instead of delaying again. That is enough. That is how rhythms are rebuilt. That is how trust returns. That is how tenderness is restored. That is how peace starts to breathe again in a life that has become too familiar with postponement. So I am telling you lovingly and firmly, stop waiting for a perfect moment that does not exist. Stop standing at the edge of your own healing and calling it wisdom to hesitate. Do not make me compete with your procrastination. Do not keep saying you want freedom while you keep scheduling surrender for a day that never arrives. Choose now. Let now be sacred. Let now be sufficient. Let now be the place where the cycle breaks. Say to me, Lord, I am done waiting to feel ready. I'm coming as I am. And act on that prayer. You not just feel it. Move. Obey. Stay. Return again tomorrow. If you stumble, return again. If you feel little, return again. If you feel nothing, return again. Not because you are earning something, but because real closeness is built in the ordinary decisions where you stop postponing what love has already made clear. I am here now. My mercy is here now. My invitation is here now. My help is here now. Do not insult this moment by calling it incomplete just because it does not look like what you imagined. I am in it. And if I am in it, it is enough to begin. My child, I need to speak to you with a loving firmness now, because there is a pattern between us that has become too familiar, and if you do not let me confront it, you will keep living in spiritual whiplash. Close in the storm, distant in the calm, desperate in the breaking, distracted in the ordinary. I have met you in your emergencies. I have heard your midnight prayers. I have sat with you when your chest was tight, when your thoughts were racing, when the tears would not stop, when your world felt like it was splitting open, when fear made everything feel fragile. I have comforted you in hospital rooms, in dark bedrooms, in parked cars, in silent bathrooms, in sleepless nights, in moments when you felt so overwhelmed you did not know how you would make it through the next hour. I have never despised your crisis prayers. I have never turned away from your desperate reaching. I have never said, you only call when you need something, so I will ignore you now. Hello, my child. I came close. I steadied you. I held you together. I let my peace touch places in you that were unraveling. But I need you to hear me now beyond the comfort. I want more than your panic prayers. I want more than being your emergency room. I want more than being the place you run when everything else fails. I want relationship with you in the ordinary. I want your attention when the world is not on fire. I want your affection when the pressure is low. I want your trust when there is no visible threat forcing you to seek me. I want your heart on the normal days, the quiet days, the busy days, the uneventful days, the stable days when nothing is collapsing and therefore you are tempted to drift. Because that is where intimacy is built. That is where trust becomes rooted. That is where your life becomes shaped by my presence instead of just rescued by it. You have developed a rhythm that feels spiritual because it contains real encounters, but it is incomplete. You come alive when you are desperate. You become attentive when you are scared. You pray with urgency when you are hurting. You listen closely when the consequences become visible. But when the crisis passes, when the pressure lifts, when the answer comes, when the immediate danger subsides, it becomes easier for you to loosen your grip, to relax your attention, to slide back into distraction, to reduce prayer, to let my voice become background again. My child, that is not because you do not love me. It is because you have not yet fully learned how to build love into rhythm rather than reaction. You know how to cry out. You are still learning how to remain. You know how to seek rescue. You are still learning how to live in relationship. And I want to teach you that. I want to move you from emergency intimacy to everyday intimacy. I want to move you from help me, Lord, to walk with me, Lord. I want to move you from fix this now to stay with me here. I want to move you from a faith that wakes up only when life hurts to a faith that breathes in the ordinary, where your first instinct is not only to call me when the walls shake, but to include me when the room is quiet. Because if you only seek me in crisis, you will keep mistaking emotional intensity for spiritual depth. You will keep having powerful moments without building durable closeness. You will keep associating my presence only with pain, and then you will unconsciously drift whenever life stabilizes, not because you want distance, but because your habits never learned how to keep company with me outside of urgency. So listen to me now and do not brush this aside. Stop reserving your deepest attention for emergencies. Stop giving the world your focus all day and then giving me only the leftovers when something breaks. Stop making closeness conditional on crisis. Invite me into the ordinary. Bring me your morning before your panic. Bring me your lunch break before your collapse. Bring me your commute before your confusion. Bring me your choices before the consequences. Bring me your relationships before they become tangle. Bring me your emotions before they become explosions. Bring me your habits before they become chains. Sit with me when nothing dramatic is happening. Talk to me when you are not desperate. Thank me before you are in danger. Ask me what I want to say before you are forced to listen by pain. That is not less spiritual than crying out in crisis. In many ways, it is more mature, more stable, more life-giving. It is how peace becomes preventative, not only restorative. It is how wisdom keeps you from some storms instead of only carrying you through them after they break. And I want to take this deeper, because there is a tenderness inside this correction that I do not want you to miss. I am not offended that you come to me in crisis. I am honored that you know where to run when the ground shakes. But I ache when you disappear again the moment the shaking stops. Not because my ego is bruised, but because I know what you lose when you treat me like a lifeboat instead of a home. You lose the steady formation that happens in daily nearness. You lose the small corrections that would have saved you larger pain. You lose the joy of companionship. You lose the subtle strengthening that happens when your spirit is nourished consistently instead of only revived urgently. You lose the kind of discernment that grows when you walk with me regularly, not just dramatically. I do not want to be your last resort after every other comfort fails. I want to be your first love in the middle of real life. I want to be the voice you consult before you make the decision, not only after the damage is done. I want to be the peace you cultivate before the anxiety spikes. I want to be the presence you enjoy, not just the presence you beg for when your soul is breaking. So let me teach you a new rhythm. Start small, but start sincerely. Build little altars in your ordinary day. Pause and invite me in before you open your phone. Whisper to me while you get ready. Ask me what I want you to notice before you walk into a room. Thank me for one thing before asking me for 10. Sit for a few quiet minutes when nothing urgent is demanding your attention. Read one passage slowly instead of waiting for some perfect hour-long devotion you never seem to have. Make room for me before the crisis, not only in it. Protect a few sacred minutes in the morning, a few honest minutes at night, a few return thoughts throughout the day. This is how relationship deepens. Not by intensity alone, but by consistency. Not by dramatic rescue alone, but by repeated welcome. And I want you to notice something else. When you keep me close in the ordinary, crisis begins to feel different too. You are not scrambling from spiritual distance into sudden desperation. You are not trying to hear a voice you have ignored for weeks. You are not trying to rebuild sensitivity in the middle of panic. Instead, you are responding from relationship already in motion. You are hearing from familiarity, not from emergency alone. You are steadied faster because you were already staying near. That is the life I want for you. Not a cycle of collapse and recovery, fear and relief, drifting and desperation. I want rootedness. I want steady love. I want a life where my presence is woven into your hours so deeply that even when a storm comes, it meets a heart that already knows how to remain. So obey me in this. Change your pattern. Stop waiting for pain to make you spiritual. Stop allowing urgency to become your only doorway into intimacy. Return in the ordinary. Practice presence before panic. Choose me before the crisis makes you reach. And if you need help, say it honestly. Lord, teach me how to love you when nothing is wrong. Teach me how to seek you without needing to be shattered first. Teach me how to build a rhythm, not just a rescue. That is a beautiful prayer. I will answer it. I will help you. I will meet you in the small spaces. But you must cooperate. You must make room. You must decide that relationship is worth more than reaction. You must stop waiting for your life to fall apart before you come close. Come close now. Sit with me now. Let this ordinary moment become holy. Let this calm hour become a meeting place. Let this quiet become sacred. I am not only the God who meets you in the fire, I am also the God who walks with you in the stillness. And if you will let me, I will teach you that the stillness can become just as powerful as the storm, not because it hurts more, but because love that remains in the ordinary becomes the kind of love that can carry you anywhere. My child, I have called you into a relationship that lives beyond crisis, and now I am inviting you to act from devotion, not desperation. Do not wait for urgency to move you. This is how love matures, when you give even in the calm, when nothing is forcing your hand. I have said, each one must give as he has decided in his heart, for God loves a cheerful giver, and I am looking at your heart right now. When you support this mission, through super thanks, membership, with a PayPal link in the description, you are building something eternal in the ordinary, a steady flame that reaches those who only cry out to me in storms. This is how you step into partnership with me, not just in your need, but in my work. Your giving becomes a well that others draw from when their world begins to shake. I will establish you, sustain you, and cause your life to carry a quiet abundance that crisis cannot produce. Do not wait for another breaking point to respond. Move in love now. Give now, and let your faith live in the everyday. My child, come closer and let me speak to you with the kind of honesty that can heal what confusion has been covering, because there is a pattern in you that has been quietly multiplying your frustration. You keep asking me for new answers while still resisting the last thing I already made clear. You come to me with fresh questions, fresh worries, fresh urgency, fresh requests for direction, and I hear every one of them. I am not annoyed by your questions. I am not irritated by your desire for clarity. I know you want to know what comes next. I know you want confirmation. I know you want a sign, a timeline, a reassurance, a detailed map, a sense of movement, a word about the future, a reason why the season feels so heavy, a promise that things are about to shift. I understand that. But my child, there are moments when your hunger for new revelation is actually hiding a deeper problem. You have not yet obeyed the last instruction I already gave you. You want me to tell you where to go next, but I am still waiting for you to finish what I asked of you in the place where you already are. You want a new door, but you have not yet stepped away from the old compromise. You want confirmation about the future, but you have not yet honored me in the present. You want me to reveal the next chapter, but you are still leaving the current chapter unfinished because the obedience required there is uncomfortable, inconvenient, humbling, or costly. And then, when heaven feels quiet, when clarity feels delayed, when direction feels harder to discern, you assume I am withholding. You assume I have gone silent. You assume you are stuck in mystery. But sometimes what you call mystery is simply unfinished obedience. Sometimes what you call silence is actually my mercy refusing to overload you with more instruction when you have not yet honored the instruction already in your hands. I do not say that to shame you. I say it because I want to simplify what has become unnecessarily complicated. You have been standing in front of me asking for 10 more steps while still resisting step 1. You have been asking, Lord, what about tomorrow? While I am still saying, what about what I asked you yesterday? You have been asking, show me the future, while I am asking, why are you still protecting what I told you to surrender? You have been asking, why do I feel confused? While I am asking, why are you still calling delay wisdom? My child, if I gave you more while you keep ignoring what I already said, it would not help you. It would only give your flesh more information to admire without submission. It would give your mind more content while your heart remains misaligned. And I love you too much to let revelation become entertainment when it was meant to become obedience. I am not interested in feeding your curiosity while your soul is starving from disobedience. I want your life aligned. I want your hearing clean. I want your trust active. I want your response immediate. So stop asking me for more when you already know what the next right thing is. Stop chasing prophetic language while neglecting plain obedience. Stop calling yourself lost when what you really are is reluctant. Be honest. You know the relationship I have been pressing on. You know the habit I have been exposing. You know the apology I have been asking you to make. You know the boundary I have been urging you to set. You know the distraction I have been telling you to cut off. You know the bitterness I have been asking you to release. You know the time with me you keep postponing. You know the compromise you keep minimizing. You know the area where my spirit has been nudging you repeatedly, clearly, patiently. And every time you ask me for something new while refusing that old instruction, your spirit becomes more crowded. Not because I am punishing you, but because divided obedience creates inner friction. It creates spiritual drag. It makes discernment feel harder because your heart is already negotiating with truth. So let me help you right now. Stop searching the horizon for a new word and return to the last clear thing I said. Sit with it. Write it down if you must. Name it plainly. Do not generalize it. Do not turn it into vague spirituality. Be specific. Then obey it. Do not ask me to make it easier first. Do not wait for your emotions to agree. Do not try to soften it into something less costly. Just obey. If it means ending something, end it. If it means confessing something, confess it. If it means starting something, Start it. If it means waiting, then wait without resentment. If it means releasing your demand for immediate understanding, then release it. But do not keep standing in the doorway of obedience asking why the room ahead feels dark. Step where I'd already pointed. Light often meets you in motion. And I want to take you deeper into this, because there is a sacred principle here that will change the way you hear me if you let it. I trust you with more when you honor what I have already entrusted to you. This is not because my love is conditional. My love for you does not rise and fall with your performance. But stewardship matters. Alignment matters. Responsiveness matters. When you treat my words casually, your own sensitivity suffers. When you repeatedly delay what I say, your heart learns to treat conviction as optional. When you keep consuming new messages, new insights, new hopes, new spiritual stimulation while refusing the clear instruction already in front of you, you begin to confuse spiritual appetite with spiritual maturity. But spiritual maturity is not proven by how much you hear. It is revealed by how faithfully you respond. You can gather words and still remain unchanged. You can feel stirred and still stay stuck. You can be moved emotionally and still refuse surrender. I do not want that for you. I want your hearing to become fruitful. I want your intimacy with me to become practical. I want the things I tell you to turn into decisions, not just feelings. So do this with me now. Pause. Breathe. Stop scanning for the next insight. Ask me one question only. Lord, what was the last thing you made clear that I still have not obeyed? And wait. Let the answer rise. Do not dismiss the first thing that comes because it feels too obvious, too simple, too uncomfortable, or too costly. Often the obvious thing is the holy thing. Often the simple instruction is the doorway to deeper clarity. Once you know it, do not analyze it for another week. Do not pray circles around it trying to get a more comfortable version. Move. Take action. If you need to remove access, do it. If you need to make a call, make it. If you need to forgive, choose it. If you need to stop a pattern, interrupt it today. If you need to return to consistent time with me, protect it starting now, not tomorrow morning when the cycle of delay tries to restart. If you need to apologize, humble yourself and say the words. If you need to release an outcome you have been gripping too tightly, open your hands and stop revisiting the same mental courtroom. My child, this is where so much clarity returns. Not in endless asking, but in active honoring. Not in louder spiritual hunger, but in cleaner obedience. And as you do this, I want you to notice what begins to shift. Your mind will start to feel less crowded. Your prayers will begin to feel less strained. My voice will feel less distant. Your peace will stop leaking as quickly. Why? Because your inner life was never meant to be built on accumulated instruction without surrendered response. That imbalance creates pressure. It creates spiritual indigestion. You were not made merely to hear. You were made to walk with me. So stop collecting words you do not plan to honor. Stop asking me to reveal a future that your present heart is not yet positioned to steward. Stop treating my previous instruction like a draft while you beg for a new message. Return. Obey. Honor the last thing I said. And hear the tenderness in this command. I am not withholding because I enjoy your uncertainty. I am inviting you into the kind of obedience that makes your future safer. If I speak less in some seasons, it is not always because I am absent. Sometimes it is because I am watching to see whether you will honor what I already entrusted to your spirit. I want to trust you with more. I want to speak deeply. I want to guide you richly. I want to reveal what is ahead in the measure your soul can carry. but I will not build your life on revelation without responsibility. So come with me into a simpler, cleaner way of living. Honor the last instruction. Finish the unfinished obedience. Close the loop. Clear the clutter. Then ask again. You may discover that once you do, the next step was never far away. It was simply waiting for your yes to catch up with what you already knew. My child, come closer and stay with me here, because I am going to speak to a place in you that you have learned how to live around, but you have not truly let me heal. There is a wound I have been touching again and again. There is a place in your heart I keep returning to, and every time I do, you feel it. You feel the shift in your spirit. You feel the discomfort rise. You feel the urge to look somewhere else, to move on to another subject, to call it just one of those emotions, to tell yourself you are overreacting, to distract yourself with work, noise, obligations, or even spiritual activity that lets you stay engaged without becoming exposed. But my child, I need you to hear me with tenderness and authority. I keep knocking at the door of the same wound because it is still shaping too much of your life. It is still influencing your reactions. It is still distorting the way you hear me. It is still affecting the way you trust, the way you love, the way you guard yourself, the way you interpret silence, the way you respond to correction, the way you handle disappointment, the way you expect people to leave, fail, betray, reject, misunderstand, or overlook you. You have called it maturity in some places, discernment in others, caution in others, wisdom in others. But beneath some of those labels there is still pain that has never been fully brought into my hands. And because it has not been healed, it has become an unseen filter over your life. It has taught you to brace when you should receive. It has taught you to withdraw when you should communicate. It has taught you to harden when you should stay tender. It has taught you to interpret my urgency as rejection because human urgency once came with pain. It has taught you to expect abandonment when the room gets quiet. It has taught you to protect yourself so quickly that even my comfort sometimes feels hard to trust. I know exactly where that wound came from. I know who said what they should never have said. I know who failed you. I know who mishandled your tenderness. I know the moment your heart learned to tighten. I know the season when disappointment became more familiar than ease. I know the betrayal you replay, the humiliation you still feel in your body, the grief that never got language, the silence that wounded you, the affection that was inconsistent, the love that felt conditional, the moment you were left carrying something too heavy for the version of you that lived there. I know it all. I was there when it happened, and I have been there every day since. So when I return to that wound, I am not trying to torment you. I am not reopening it to make you suffer. I am not pressing on it because I enjoy your discomfort. I am pressing on it because I refuse to let it become a permanent ruler in the hidden places of your life. I refuse to let an old wound keep governing present decisions. I refuse to let a past pain keep shaping your future intimacy with me. I refuse to let what hurt you become the lens through which you interpret every correction, every delay, every silence, every boundary, every deep invitation I bring to your soul. That is why I keep knocking. That is why I return. That is why the same issue keeps surfacing. That is why certain words make your jesussays. That is why some messages feel too close. That is why some moments in my presence suddenly become uncomfortable in ways you cannot easily explain. I am not being repetitive without purpose. I am being merciful with precision. I am going to the place that still bleeds beneath your coping. I am touching the bruise beneath your functioning. I am reaching the room you decorated well enough that even you started pretending it no longer hurts. But it does. And if you are honest, you know it does. You know that some of your strongest reactions are not about the present moment alone. You know that some of your defensiveness has history attached to it. You know that some of your numbness is not peace. You know that some of your caution is not wisdom. You know that some of your distance is not maturity. So stop turning away when I touch that place. Stop saying, "I already dealt with this," when the fruit still says otherwise. Stop calling it healed because you learned how to function around it. Let me go there. Let me sit with you there. Let me name what you keep avoiding. Let me expose the wound without shame. Let me tell you the truth about what it has been costing you. Do not rush. Do not escape. Say, I am not here to accuse you for being wounded. I am here to heal what you keep managing instead of surrendering. And I want you to go deeper now, because healing that wound will require more than acknowledgement. It will require your permission, your honesty, and your willingness to let me do something you have resisted because it feels too vulnerable. Feel what you buried without letting it rule you. You have become so practiced at managing your pain that you often skip over the part where it gets brought into the light. You analyze it. You explain it. You label it. You compare it. You spiritualize it. You say all the right things around it. But beneath all of that, there is still unwept grief, unspoken anger, unresolved disappointment, unprocessed fear, unadmitted hurt. And until that comes into my presence honestly, it will keep leaking into places where it does not belong. So listen to me and obey me gently but seriously. Stop numbing the wound with speed, noise, constant stimulation, or spiritual performance. Sit down with me. Ask me, Lord, what exactly still hurts here? Then wait. Do not rush to the answer you think sounds mature. Let the real answer come. Maybe what still hurts is not only what they did, but what it made you believe about yourself. Maybe what still hurts is not only that they left, but that you built your expectations around their staying. Maybe what still hurts is not only the betrayal, but the shame of how long it affected you. Maybe what still hurts is the way that one season trained you to expect pain where I am offering peace. Whatever it is, bring it to me directly. Say it plainly. Saying, Lord, this still hurts. I still feel angry here. I still feel abandoned here. I still feel foolish here. I still feel afraid here. I still feel rejected here. I still do not know how to trust in this place. That is not weakness. That is how healing begins. Then let me speak. Let me tell you what was true even when the wound formed. Let me tell you who you were even when they misread you, mishandled you, or walked away from you. Let me separate your identity from the event. Let me separate my heart from the pain people caused. Let me untangle what the enemy used that wound to whisper over you. And as I do not cling to the wound as proof that what happened mattered. I know it mattered. You do not have to stay injured to prove that it was real. Release that false loyalty to your pain. Some part of you has been afraid that healing means minimizing what happened. It does not. Healing means what happened no longer gets to keep deciding who you become. It means the wound stops being the loudest interpreter in your life. It means your reflexes are retrained by my love instead of by old injury. That is what I want for you. So forgive where I tell you to forgive, even if forgiveness feels layered. Grieve what must be grieved, even if tears come late. Speak what must be spoken in my presence, even if you do not say it to another person. Release what you have been using as self-protection if it is now blocking intimacy. Let me rebuild the places where your trust broke. Let me reteach your nervous system what safety feels like in my presence. Let me prove to you, again and again, that my correction is not human cruelty, that my silence is not abandonment, that my boundaries are not rejection, that my nearness is not a trap. And if the wound surfaces again later, do not assume you failed. Healing often returns in layers because your heart is not a machine. When it rises again, bring it back quickly. Do not hide. Do not harden. Do not say, "I thought I was past this," and then retreat in embarrassment. Say, "Lord, this still needs you. I am bringing it back." That is maturity. That is surrender. That is how old pain loses its authority. My child, I have been knocking at the door of the same wound because I love you too much to let it keep shaping the sound of your yes. Open the door. Let me in all the way. Do not let pain keep private rights over territory that belongs to me. This is holy ground now. Let healing begin in the exact place where you once decided survival was enough. It is not enough anymore. I want more for you. I want freedom there. I want tenderness there. I want trust there. And I am still willing to do the work if you will stop closing the door every time my hand touches the scar. My child, as I have touched the wound you keep guarding, understand this. Healing flows most freely through an open hand. The same place that hath been closed in pain, I now invite to open in trust, because I have said, "He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds," and I am doing that even now. When you choose to give, through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not losing, you are releasing, and release is where healing begins to breathe again. Your seed becomes a testimony that your wound no longer controls you, that your trust is being restored in me. And through your obedience, this message will reach others who are still hiding behind their pain, still closing doors I am knocking on. I will meet you in your vulnerability with provision, with peace, with restoration that goes deeper than what was broken. Do not retreat from this moment. Step into it. Give now, and let your healing flow beyond you. My child, I need you to listen to me with the deepest seriousness you have had all day, because what I am about to say is not meant to threaten you. It is meant to rescue you before you force your own life into a lesson that could have been learned more gently. You have a choice right now, and it is more important than you realize. You can keep responding to my voice while it is still a whisper, while it is still a nudge, while it is still a stirring, a conviction, a discomfort, a small loss of peace, a quiet interruption, a moment where your spirit hesitates and you know I am saying, "Stop. Look. Listen. Return." Or you can keep running. You can keep delaying. You can keep overriding what I am showing you. You can keep numbing what I'm trying to awaken. You can keep calling the whisper optional. But my child, hear me. If you keep running long enough, pain will eventually become the only thing left loud enough to reach you. I do not say that because I want to hurt you. I say that because I know how hard human hearts can become when they repeatedly ignore gentle guidance. I know what happens when tenderness is neglected. I know what happens when small corrections are dismissed. I know what happens when you keep stepping over the same conviction. The whisper loses its honored place in your life, and once that happens, stronger measures are often needed, not because I am cruel, but because you keep choosing not to respond to mercy in its gentler form. Sometimes a relationship has to break harder because you ignored every quiet warning. Sometimes exhaustion has to become undeniable because you kept calling your pace normal. Sometimes the secret pattern has to cost more because you kept calling it manageable. Sometimes the consequences have to become visible because invisible conviction was not enough to move you. Sometimes the door has to slam because you kept forcing it open when my spirit was already saying no. My child, that is not me enjoying your pain. That is the painful mercy of reality meeting repeated resistance. I would rather guide you by whisper than by collapse. I would rather turn you with peace than with pressure. I would better awaken you with conviction than with consequences. I would rather draw you close through tenderness than let pain become the only language you finally respect. But I will not let you drift endlessly without interruption. I love you too much for that. If you keep ignoring the small checks, eventually life will get louder, not always because I am sending pain in the simplistic way you imagine, but because truth has a way of surfacing what denial cannot sustain forever. What you refuse to face quietly often erupts later with more force. What you keep hiding often grows until it affects more than you intended. What you keep minimizing often becomes harder to minimize with time. This is why I have been so direct with you. This is why I keep coming close. This is why I keep saying the same things from different angles. I am trying to reach you before pain has to do what surrender could do more gently. I am trying to spare you from the harsher lesson by inviting you into the softer one. I am trying to save you from learning through breaking what could have been learned through listening. So stop making peace with delay. Stop assuming you can keep pushing the line and nothing deeper will be affected. Stop calling your repeated resistance harmless because the consequences have not yet become dramatic. The absence of visible collapse is not proof of safety. Sometimes it is simply a window of mercy. And windows of mercy are meant to be honored, not exploited. You are in such a window right now. You can still hear me. You can still feel the weight of my words. You can still sense the tug in your spirit. You can still recognize what I am touching. That matters. Do not treat that as a small thing. Do not waste this moment by saying, "I'll deal with it later," because later is often where the lesson becomes heavier. Come now. Respond now. Return now. Let the whisper be enough. Let the nudge be enough. Let the loss of peace be enough. Let this conversation be enough. I am not trying to scare you into obedience. I am trying to spare you from the kind of pain that comes when people insist on learning only through impact. You do not have to learn that way if you will listen now. And I want to take this deeper, because some of you listening to me already know exactly what I mean. You have seen it before. You have lived through seasons where I warned you gently, and because you delayed, the lesson grew louder. You have watched small compromises become large consequences. You have watched minor neglect turn into deeper dryness. You have watched "I can handle it" become "how did I get here?" You have watched a door you kept forcing become a room you later wished you had never entered. You have watched a habit you thought you controlled become a source of shame. You have watched emotional avoidance become relational damage. You have watched people-pleasing become resentment. You have watched unprocessed pain become numbness. You have seen what happens when the whisper is ignored too long. That memory is not there to humiliate you. It is there to make you wiser now. Let it teach you. Do not repeat the pattern just because mercy has made room for another chance. Another chance is not permission to drift again. It is an invitation to choose differently while the cost is still lower. So hear me and obey me practically. When I check your spirit, stop immediately. Do not keep walking just because it is inconvenient to turn around. When peace leaves, pay attention. Do not keep talking, texting, scrolling, pursuing, justifying, or entertaining the thing because you do not want to feel the awkwardness of stopping. Choose the awkwardness of obedience over the agony of consequences. If I tell you to step back, step back. If I tell you to confess, confess. If I tell you to end it, end it. If I tell you to rest, rest. If I tell you to tell the truth, tell it. If I tell you to stop revisiting the same mental trap, stop feeding it. If I tell you to make room for me, protect that space fiercely. Do not ask for another warning when you already have one. Do not demand a bigger sign when the smaller one is already clear. This is how you stay safe. This is how you stay soft. This is how you avoid unnecessary sorrow. And hear the tenderness in this. I am not calling you into fear-driven obedience. I am calling you into trust-driven responsiveness. I am not saying, be terrified that something bad will happen. I am saying, respect my voice enough that pain does not need to become your teacher again. There is a difference. Fear makes you frantic. Trust makes you responsive. Fear panics. Trust listens. Fear imagines disaster. Trust honors the warning and moves. I want the second for you. I want you to become the kind of child who turns at the whisper, who pauses at the nudge, who treasures peace enough to notice when it shifts, who treats small convictions as sacred, who does not need collapse to become attentive. That kind of life is possible for you. It is learned in the ordinary. It is built by repeated yesi. It is formed every time you choose to respond before the consequence becomes loud. So if you feel the weight of this now, you not just admire it emotionally. Act. Identify one area where I have been whispering and you have been running. Name it. Bring it into the light. And take the first concrete step of obedience today. Not tomorrow. Not after you think about it. Today. Close the door. Send the message. End the pattern. Delete the access. Apologize. Return to prayer. Create the boundary. Ask for help. Whatever the instruction is, obey it while your heart is still soft enough to move. That is how you honor mercy. That is how you keep pain from becoming the only voice you finally respect. My child, I love you too much to let your life become a series of louder and louder lessons just because you kept refusing the gentle ones. Let this be the turning point. Let this be the moment where the whisper becomes enough again. Let this be the season where you stop learning only through what hurts and start learning through what is holy, quiet, and true. I am speaking now. Listen now. Respond now. Stay close enough that pain no longer has to shout where my love was already whispering. My child, come close to me now and do not hurry past this final word, because I am not speaking to you casually. I am not speaking to you as though this is just another emotional moment that will pass, just another stirring that fades by tonight, just another message you can admire and then quietly set aside while your life returns to the same old rhythm. I'm speaking to you because this is a real moment, and what you do with it matters more than you realize. I have walked with you through every hidden chamber of this conversation. I have touched the places you avoid. I have named the patterns you excuse. I have exposed the delays you call wisdom, the comforts you call coping, the wounds you call healed, the voices you keep entertaining, the distance you keep normalizing, the compromises you keep minimizing, the shame you keep believing, the perfectionism you keep hiding behind, the unanswered instructions you keep stepping over, the hardness that has been growing every time you ignore what I say. I have not done that to overwhelm you. I have done it because I love you too deeply to leave you untouched by truth. I have done it because I am not willing to watch you keep circling the same pain while calling it your personality, your season, your struggle, or your burden when so much of it is connected to the fact that you keep hearing me and then choosing distance. And now, after all of this, I need you to understand what is in front of you. This is your moment. Not tomorrow. Not after you calm down. Not after you think about it for a few days. Not after you wait to see whether the emotion stays. Not after you gather more insight, more confirmation, more signs, more spiritual stimulation. This is your moment to stop running and come home. I am not saying you have to solve your whole life in one breath. I am not asking you to instantly become the finished version of who I am shaping you to be. I am not demanding that every wound closes tonight, every habit breaks tonight, every fear vanishes tonight, every relationship untangles tonight, every consequence disappears tonight. I'm asking for something both simpler and more sacred than that. I am asking you to stop running. I am asking you to stop negotiating with what I have already made clear. I am asking you to stop turning your face away every time my hand touches the real issue. I am asking you to stop making me compete with your distractions, your shame, your delay, your pride, your false comforts, your fear of what surrender might cost. I am asking you to come home. And home is not a location in the sentimental sense. Home is the place where your soul stops performing. Home is the place where you stop hiding. Home is the place where truth is allowed to be true. Home is the place where my voice is no longer background noise, where my correction is no longer treated like a threat, where my nearness is no longer filtered through your wounds, where your spirit no longer has to split itself between what it knows and what it is protecting. Home is where you can finally say, Lord, I am done resisting you. I am done trying to survive on substitutes. I am done pretending I do not know what you are asking. I am done waiting for a perfect moment. I am done calling my chains comfort. I am done building altars to regret. I am done asking for new answers while ignoring old instructions. I am done running. My child, if you can say that honestly, even trembling, even weeping, even exhausted, you will have already stepped across a threshold that matters more than you can currently measure. Do not underestimate what a real return looks like. A real return is not always dramatic on the outside. Sometimes it is quiet, but it is decisive. Sometimes it is a whisper, but it is final in the spirit. Sometimes it is one surrendered breath, one confessed truth, one deleted access point, one hard boundary, one honest prayer, one act of repentance, one decision to stop going back to what keeps draining you. That is how home begins. It begins when your yes stops being theoretical. It begins when your love for me becomes more valuable than your attachment to what has been weakening you. It begins when you decide that even if your emotions are still tangled, your direction will no longer be. So come now. Do not stand at the edge of this moment and admire it while refusing it. Do not say, "This was powerful," and then walk back into the same private agreements with darkness. Do not say, "I needed this," and then keep the same doors unlocked. Do not cry and then return unchanged. Let this be the moment where the cycle actually breaks. Let this be the moment where your response becomes more than emotion. Let this be the moment where your spirit finally says, enough. Enough delay. Enough excuses. Enough divided loyalty. Enough surviving at a distance. Enough letting the same wound keep deciding how I hear God. Enough waiting for pain to become louder. Enough asking for peace while protecting what steals it. Enough. That word matters right now. Let it rise in you. Let it become action. Let it become surrender. Let it become return. And I want you to understand something that is deeply important before you move, because I do not want you to come home thinking you are entering a courtroom. You are not coming home to humiliation. You are not coming home to be scolded into the ground. You are not coming home to stand under my gaze and wonder whether I will bring up every failure with coldness. You are coming home to a Father who has been waiting, watching, speaking, grieving, protecting, correcting, inviting, and making room for you the entire time. You are coming home to love that did not weaken while you wandered. You are coming home to mercy that did not dry up because you delayed. You are coming home to truth, yes, but truth in my hands heals. You are coming home to correction, Yes, but correction in my hands restores. You are coming home to surrender. Yes, but surrender in my presence liberates what performance has exhausted. So do not come with a rehearsed speech. Come with honesty. Do not come with spiritual theatrics. Come with real confession. Do not come trying to impress me with how broken you feel. Yes, come. Come, as the child who finally understands that being near me is better than being right in your own excuses. Come as the child who is tired of managing pain instead of healing it. Come as the child who is ready to stop calling survival peace. Come as the child who is willing to let me close doors, cut ties, expose patterns, heal wounds, retrain desires, rebuild tenderness, and restore what was lost. And once you come, stay. It matters too. Do not treat this as a one-night rescue and then disappear into the noise again. Today, build your life differently after this. Protect what happens here. Guard the tenderness that returns. Guard the clarity that comes. Guard the boundaries you set. Guard the quiet moments where my voice begins to feel familiar again. Guard your mornings if you need to. Guard your evenings if you need to. Guard your attention. Guard your access points. Guard what enters your mind. Guard who sits close to your soul. Guard the things I expose tonight, because whatever I expose, I expect you to steward. If I show you the door, close it. If I show you the wound, bring it to me again and again until it loses its authority. If I show you the pattern, interrupt it immediately. If I show you the lie, stop agreeing with it. If I show you the person or influence weakening you, create distance. If I show you the habit, remove access. If I show you the unfinished instruction, obey it now. This is what staying home looks like. It is not just emotional closeness. It is practical surrender. It is relational obedience. It is choosing me in the ordinary after you choose me in the intense. And if you are afraid that you will come home tonight and still struggle tomorrow, hear me clearly. Struggle tomorrow is not failure if you stay surrendered tomorrow. If you feel weak again, return again. If you feel tempted again, bring it into the light again. If the wound aches again, bring it back again. If the old voice whispers again, answer it with truth and stay close. Home is not lost because you are still in process. Home is lost when you decide to run again and call it normal. So make a decision now. Decide that running is no longer your identity. Decide that distance is no longer your comfort zone. Decide that my whisper will be enough. Decide that when I say stop, you will stop. Decide that when I say return, you will return. Decide that when I say let go, you will let go. Decide that when I say trust me here, you will trust me there even if your emotions need time to catch up. This is your moment, my child. Do not waste it. Kneel if you need to kneel. Cry if you need to cry. Turn something off. Delete something. End something. Confess something. Forgive someone. Step away from something. Start something. Open my word. Lift your hands. Sit in silence. Say the prayer you have been avoiding. But do something real. Let heaven witness your yes. Let your soul feel the seriousness of your return. And then hear me one last time, deeply, personally, unmistakably. I am not begging you because I am weak. I am calling you because you are mine. I am not chasing you because I need something from you. I am pursuing you because I know what you become when you stay close, and I refuse to let you settle for less. Stop running now. Come home now. Stay here now. I am already at the door, and my arms are open. My child, you have come to the threshold, and now your return must take form, because love that is real will always respond. You said enough, and heaven heard it. But now let your obedience echo it in action. I have declared, give, and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And I am inviting you into that promise right now. When you support this mission, through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not just giving, you are planting a banner that says, I am no longer running. Your seed becomes part of the harvest of souls coming home, part of the light reaching those still standing at the door, unsure if they should return. This is a holy moment. Do not reduce it to motion without movement. I will cover you, increase you, and establish your steps as you honor me in this. Let heaven witness your yes in something tangible. Give now, act now, and remain in the place you have returned to. And once you have taken that step, let your heart rest in the place you have returned to. Obedience is not only what you release outward, it is what allows me to draw closer within. What you have aligned with has already opened a space for my presence to meet your deepest needs. This is where your yes becomes comfort, where your return becomes connection. So pause and breathe, because I am not distant from your struggles. I am stepping directly into them. My child, my beloved, stop what you are doing for just a moment. Pause right now. Take a deep breath in and let out the heavy weight you have been carrying all day. I see you. I see the exact spot where you are sitting or standing. I know the racing thoughts in your mind. I hear the quiet, hidden worries about your future, the pressure you feel at your job, the unspoken tensions in your family, and that deep, silent fear that you are being overlooked by the world. You feel a tight knot in your stomach, don't you? That knot is not from me. Let us undo it together, right here, right now. I am speaking directly to you. Listen to me. Truly listen to my heart. My voice is the same voice that thunders over the deep, wide oceans. It is the voice that commands the morning sun to rise and tells the stars to hold their exact place in the midnight sky. Yet I do not shout at you. I whisper in your quietest, most lonely moments. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the absolute beginning of all things and the final end of all things. I hold the entire universe in the palm of my hand. But look closely at how I approach you. I do not kick down the door of your life. I stand at the door of your heart, and I gently knock. I wait for you. I am the Almighty Creator, yet I invite you into a simple, quiet, and deeply personal conversation. You might wonder why I do not just fix everything instantly, why I do not simply force you to walk the right path and take away all your struggles. My sovereignty, my absolute and unmatched power, does not mean I will ever force your love. I do not want a machine that just follows orders. I seek a willing spirit. I seek a real, living relationship with you. Contemplate this for a moment. Think about the deep humility of a God who steps down from the high throne of heaven just to invite his creation into a daily dialogue. I knew no one had told you, I wanted to talk with you. Imagine a powerful king stepping off his royal seat, walking past the guards, going down into the dusty, common streets, just to sit on the curb next to you and ask about your day. That is exactly what I do for you every single morning. Child, do I have to beg you to listen to me? When I say the word beg, I want you to truly understand what I mean. To beg is not a sign of weakness. To beg is to show you the desperate, passionate depth of my affection for your soul. It is the ultimate expression of a father's love. Imagine a loving parent watching their child walk blindly toward a dangerous, steep cliff. The parent will cry out. They will reach out. They will beg their child to turn around. They beg because the child's life is too precious to lose. My persistence in your life, the way I keep pulling at your heart, the way I keep sending you small signs, is a direct reflection of your immeasurable value to me. You are worth everything to me. Look at the clear contrast between the loud, demanding world and my gentle, waiting presence. The world demands your constant attention, your stress, your endless and exhausting work. I demand only your heart, and I ask for it with open arms. I repeat my call to you, day after day, night after night. Come to me. Never give up on our relationship. I will never give up on you. You matter too much. Your life is not an accident, and your struggles are not invisible to me. Every time you feel that gentle pull to pray, that sudden urge to be quiet and still, that is me. That is my persistent love knocking. Open your eyes to my presence. Let go of the need to control every single outcome. Surrender your fear of what tomorrow will bring, because I am already standing in your tomorrow. I have already made a safe way for you, but I need you to listen to me today. Will you let me in? Will you answer the knock? I am waiting. My beloved child, look around you right now. Pay attention to the world you live in. The world's clamor is specifically designed to drown out the gentle stillness of my spirit. You wake up, and immediately the noise begins. The screens light up, the news feeds pour in, and the demands of your job start screaming for your attention. You are surrounded by a constant, buzzing static. I see how you use busyness as a hiding place. Yes, I see it. You fill every empty second of your day with tasks, podcasts, music, and endless scrolling. You do this because busyness is often a sanctuary for a heart that is afraid of what I might say. You are terrified that if you get quiet, you will have to face the empty spaces inside you. You are afraid I will ask you to change something painful. But I am not here to hurt you. I am here to heal you. Your digital distractions create a massive, heavy wall between your spirit and my wisdom. You spend hours looking at the lives of others, comparing your behind-the-scenes struggles to their highlight reels. These are the modern idols of the ear and the eyes that you prioritize over my word. You listen to the opinions of strangers on the internet more closely than you listen to the creator of your soul. Why does silence feel so uncomfortable to you? Silence feels awkward and heavy when your life is out of alignment with me. When you sit in a quiet room, your conscience speaks, and the reality of your stress bubbles up. Imagine you are sitting trapped in a cold, dark cellar of your own making, shivering with anxiety, unable to see the way forward. You cannot see a thing, but you feel the panic moving at your feet. You do not have to stay in that dark cellar. I have the key. I command you to step out of the noise today. I invite you to build a secret place for us. You must carve out a physical and mental space where only my voice is permitted to ring. Turn off the phone. Shut the door. Sit in the stillness. At first, your mind will race. You will think of 100 things you need to do. Let those thoughts pass like clouds in the sky. Do not chase them. Wait for me. Wait in the quiet. I promise you, the peace you are frantically searching for on your screens is waiting for you in the silence of my presence. I want to speak to your deep fears. I want to tell you how to handle that family tension. I want to give you the exact strategy for your career. But I will not shout over the television. I will not compete with your phone. You must choose to lower the volume of the world so you can hear the whisper of your God. Come to the quiet. I'm already there, waiting for you. My precious one, you are so deeply tired. I feel the exhaustion in your bones. I see the tension tight in your neck and the shallow way you breathe when you think about tomorrow. You are trying to be the savior of your own life. You were never meant to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You feel like you have a mountain of problems to solve before you can finally rest. But that mountain is an illusion. Exhaustion is often the direct result of running a race I never asked you to run. You are striving for promotions I did not ordain, fighting battles I did not call you to fight, and trying to please people who will never be satisfied. Stop running. Stop fighting. Stop striving. My plea to listen is not another task to add to your to-do list. It is an urgent invitation to find rest for your heavy soul. Every single time you ignore my direction, you add another heavy brick to your own burden. You try to fix a relationship your way, and you add a brick. You try to force a financial breakthrough with worry, and you add another brick. You are walking around with a backpack full of bricks, wondering why your knees are buckling. Put the backpack down. I command you to drop the heavy bags of your own self-reliance. Your human strength is completely finite. It has a limit, and you are running on empty. But my grace is an overflowing, eternal reservoir. It never runs dry. It never gets tired. Surrendering your carefully crafted plan is the very first step toward hearing my true purpose for your life. You have filled notebooks with your 5-year plans and your daily goals. You hold on to them so tightly that your knuckles are white. Give those plans to me. Open your hands. You are so afraid that if you stop pushing, everything will fall apart. Let me hold it together for you. I want to give you peace that makes no logical sense. I want you to sleep soundly through the night, knowing I am standing guard over your family and your future. But you must stop trying to do my job. Let me be God. Let yourself be loved. Listen to me, and I will lead you beside still waters. I will restore your soul. Never, never, never give up on seeking my rest. Let go of your pride, let go of your exhaustion, and fall into my arms. I have you. My child, look at me. Please lift your head and look at me. Imagine the deep, piercing sorrow of a parent whose child refuses to look them in the eye. Imagine a father reaching out to hug his son or daughter, only to have them turn their back and walk out the door. That is the ache in my heart when you go days without speaking to me. I am not an angry dictator sitting in the clouds, waiting to strike you with lightning when you make a mistake. I am a father. I am your father. My begging you to listen is the pure, unfiltered expression of a love that simply refuses to let you go easily. I will chase you down. I will wait up for you. Every missed instruction from me is a missed opportunity for you to experience my absolute best. You think you know what will make you happy. You chase after money, human approval, and temporary pleasures. But I see the entire map of your life. I see the dangerous pitfalls ahead that you are currently completely blind to in your stubbornness. I see the trap hidden in that job offer. I see the heartbreak waiting in that relationship you refuse to let go of. When I tell you no, it is not because I want to ruin your fun. It is because I am protecting your future. My heart completely breaks when you choose to drink from a broken, dirty puddle when I am offering you an endless spring of living water. You think my commands are heavy chains designed to restrict you. They are not. This is not a demand for control over your life. It is a desperate cry for your protection and your peace. I want to keep you safe from the things that want to destroy your mind and your joy. I see how the enemy of your soul tries to whisper lies into your ear, telling you that I am holding out on you. It is a lie. Everything I have is yours. Every good and perfect gift comes from my hand. Do not pull away from my touch. When you feel that gentle conviction in your heart, when you know you are walking the wrong way, do not ignore it. That is my hand on your shoulder. trying to turn you around before you fall. Trust my heart, even when you cannot see my hand. I love you too much to leave you alone. My child, we need to talk about the word later. You say it to me all the time. You say it, I will pray later. You say, I will forgive that person who hurt me later. You say, I will step into my calling later, when I have more money, more time, more confidence. Procrastination in your obedience is a very subtle, very dangerous form of spiritual rebellion. It is a polite way of saying no to the Lord of the universe. Today, right now, if you hear my voice, do not harden your heart like dry clay left out in the baking sun. When you ignore my promptings, your heart loses its softness. You become numb. You are constantly waiting for the perfect time to obey me. You want all the traffic lights to be green before you pull out of your driveway. But I am telling you, the perfect time to listen is always the exact moment I am speaking. Tomorrow is just a vapor. It is a ghost. It does not exist yet. My instructions for your life are not for a hypothetical future. They are for the present, urgent now. You are worried about the future, but you are ignoring the command I gave you for today. You cannot have the grace for tomorrow until you step into the obedience of today. Grace is fully available today, in this very moment. But delay breeds a calloused, cold, and distant spirit. You must understand a hard truth. Delayed obedience is often just disguised disobedience. When I tell you to let go of your anger toward a family member, and you decide to hold on to it for one more week, you are choosing bitterness over my healing. When I tell you to take a bold step in your career, and you hide in fear for another year, you are rejecting my provision. Stop waiting for a better season. Stop waiting until you feel ready. You will never feel completely ready, because faith requires stepping into the unknown. I am the God of the right now. I am walking with you in this present second. I command you to drop the excuse of later. Take the step today. Send that message. Make that apology. Start that project. Trust me today, and watch how I open the doors you thought were permanently locked. My child, just as I command you not to delay your obedience today, I also invite you to immediately partner with me in waking up a sleeping world. I am directly calling you to be the very hands that carry my urgent, pleading voice to millions of deafened, broken souls. When you choose to generously support this mission, through a super thanks, joining as a member, or giving through the PayPal link in the description, you are forcefully tearing down the heavy walls of silence for someone who is desperately waiting to hear me. Your gift is not just money. It is a blazing, undeniable torch of light violently piercing the thick, suffocating darkness of this present age. This is absolutely not a random algorithm. This is a deeply prophetic, urgent appointment for you to actively sow into the massive, eternal harvest right now. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, completely shaken together, and running over will I aggressively pour directly into your lap. As you radically sacrifice to amplify my voice, I will violently protect your finances, deeply multiply your peace, and aggressively release my unstoppable favor over your entire household. Do not wait for later. Step into this massive, eternal impact and boldly give your offering today. My child, do not silence my voice right now. To pause this message and walk blindly back into the loud, chaotic world would deeply, profoundly grieve my fatherly heart. I am actively pouring out a heavy, healing rain upon your desperately dry spirit, and to turn away now is to deliberately choose the devastating drought. Stay with me. Listen, listen, listen. Do not abandon our sacred, intimate conversation when the massive breakthrough you have been violently crying out for is just moments away. My beautifully made child, I fashioned your inward parts. I knitted together every nerve, every talent, every quirk, and every desire inside your heart. I know exactly how you are wired to function. I know what brings you joy and what drains your spirit. Listening to me is exactly like a complex machine following the detailed manual of its original creator. You are currently walking through your life trying to solve a massive, complicated puzzle in the dark. You're picking up pieces, trying to jam them together, getting frustrated when they do not fit. Stop forcing it. I am the one holding the picture on the box. I know what your life is supposed to look like. Your unique talents, your deep passions, and your sharp skills will only find their true north when I am the one guiding them. You are highly capable. I know this because I gave you those abilities. But right now, you are like a Ferrari driving down the highway with the handbrake firmly pulled up. You are full of power, but you are completely self-limiting. You are your own worst enemy. Disregarding my voice is an act of total self-sabotage against your own massive potential. You keep trying to use your gifts to build your own small kingdom, and it leaves you feeling empty and burned out. I speak to you, I direct you, and I push you because I desperately want you to walk in the absolute fullness of who I made you to be. I did not create you to live a small, fearful, anxious life. I created you to be a light in dark places. I created you to bring order to chaos. But you cannot do that if you do not read the blueprint. You cannot build a strong house if you ignore the architect. I command you to release the handbrake today. Stop holding yourself back with self-doubt. Stop listening to the lies that say you are not good enough, not smart enough, or too broken to be used. I do not make mistakes. I made you on purpose, for a purpose. Listen to my voice. Read the manual of my word, and let me show you the incredible masterpiece you were always designed to be. Walk with me, and let us build something eternal together. My precious child, do you know the deep comfort of being completely safe? I want you to picture the relationship between a loving, fiercely protective shepherd and his sheep. The sheep know the shepherd's voice with absolute certainty, and a stranger they simply will not follow. You live in a world that is a dense, confusing, and often dangerous wilderness. Outside of my direct guidance lies a dark forest filled with subtle, spiritual wolves. These wolves do not always look scary. Sometimes they look like a sudden, demanding promotion at your job that will completely steal you away from your family. Sometimes they look like a harmless rumor that creates deep, unspoken tensions in your home. Sometimes they disguise themselves as the heavy, creeping feeling of being entirely overlooked by the people you are trying so hard to impress. These wolves are hunting for your peace, your joy, and your very soul. When I am begging you to listen, I am using my shepherd's staff to pull you forcefully back from the dangerous cliff's edge. You cannot see the sheer drop hidden just beneath the brush, but I see it clearly. I see the burnout waiting for you if you keep pushing yourself at this frantic pace. I see the financial trap hidden in that decision you are about to make. My commands are not prison walls designed to ruin your fun. They are sturdy, impenetrable fortress walls designed to keep the deadly wolves out. Contentment, true and lasting peace, is found exclusively within the loving boundaries I have carefully set for your life. When you stay within my fold, you can finally take a deep breath before you face a challenge, knowing you do not face it alone. You can experience the quiet pause before a storm breaks, completely anchored in my unwavering protection. Follow my voice today. I command you to stop wandering into the dangerous territories of endless worry and toxic comparison. Let me lead you to green pastures, even when you are walking right through the middle of a severe season of drought. Your bank account may be low, your energy may be completely depleted, but I can feed your spirit with supernatural peace that the world cannot possibly understand. Remember this truth: the shepherd speaks the loudest and most clearly when the terrain becomes the most dangerous. If you feel like your life is currently walking through a dark, terrifying valley, pay very close attention. Listen closely. I am speaking right now. I am guiding your steps away from the hidden traps. Trust the sound of my voice. Lean the full weight of your life against my staff. I will absolutely guide you. I will violently protect you, and I will safely bring you home. My beloved one, let us speak plainly about a very real and present danger. There may come a dark and lonely time when the endless noise you chose to surround yourself with becomes your only company. Think about the subtle, slow fade of a radio dial turning down the volume until there is nothing left but cold, empty static. To ignore me repeatedly, day after day, is to actively train your own ears to be completely deaf to the Holy Spirit. I never, ever leave you. I will never abandon you. But you can choose to wander so far into the dense woods of your own ambitions and distractions that you entirely lose the sound of me. This is how the devastating drought of the soul truly begins. It begins the exact moment when the Word of God is no longer desperately sought after like a glass of cold water in a burning desert. Fear the heavy, terrifying moment when you no longer feel the gentle tug of my conviction. Do you remember when a harsh word spoken in anger used to immediately prick your conscience? Do you remember when skipping your quiet time left an ache in your heart? If you no longer feel that gentle correction, you have built a thick, calloused wall around your spirit. The pressure at your job and the constant scrolling on your phone have become the loud, overwhelming soundtrack of your daily life, drowning out my tender whisper. You wake up feeling empty, you dread the coming day, and you feel that painful, sinking sensation of being utterly overlooked by the universe. That feeling is the profound cost of divine silence. You were never designed to navigate the heavy storms of human existence without the steady, clear compass of my voice. Do not let the silence grow for one more day. I invite you to turn back to me right now, in this exact moment. Break the awful silence. Call out to me. Listening to me right now, in the calm, ordinary moments of your Tuesday afternoon, preserves the deep intimacy that will fiercely sustain you when the dark midnight hours arrive. When the real, earth-shattering storms hit your life, you need to know exactly what my voice sounds like. Practice listening to me today. Open your heart and let my words wash over your dry, exhausted soul like a sudden, refreshing spring rain. I will speak life back into your tired bones. I will restore the broken connection. But you must tune your ear to my frequency. Stop listening to the static of your fears and start listening to the absolute certainty of my eternal love for you. My deeply intelligent child, I see how hard you work to figure everything out. You are smart by the world's standard. You have gathered experience, you have earned degrees, and you know exactly how to solve complex, difficult problems at your workplace. But I must tell you a vital truth. You can be brilliant in the boardroom and completely foolish in the eternal kingdom. Human logic, the cold, calculating way the world operates, very often directly contradicts the warm, supernatural wisdom I desperately wish to impart to you. The world tells you to aggressively hoard your money, to fiercely protect your pride, and to hold on to grudges against those family members who deeply wronged you. The world's logic is absolutely exhausting you. It is the very reason you feel that tight knot of anxiety in your stomach every single morning. I beg you to listen to me, because my thoughts are infinitely higher than your thoughts, and my ways are vastly higher than your ways. Human knowledge simply puffs up the ego. It makes you arrogant, stressed, and constantly defensive. but hearing my gentle voice builds an unshakable, solid foundation of pure love. The so-called wisdom of this age, the self-help books, the endless podcasts on how to hustle harder, the constant striving for more, is rapidly passing away. It is like chasing the wind. It leaves you breathless and empty-handed. But my word stands forever. My wisdom tells you to radically forgive so that you can finally be free. My wisdom tells you to generously give so that you can open the floodgates of my provision. My wisdom tells you to step down, to be humble, so that I can properly lift you up in due time. Lay down your cleverness today. I command you to stop trying to outthink your overwhelming problems. You cannot simply mind map or strategically plan your way out of a deep spiritual drought. You cannot outsmart the heavy burdens of your own heart. Tap directly into the mind of Christ. Ask me for my divine wisdom, and I will generously give it to you without holding back. I will show you brilliant, unexpected solutions to your career pressures that you never even considered. I will give you the exact, healing words to speak into those deeply unspoken tensions in your family. Stop relying on your own limited, exhausted brain. Lean entirely on my limitless, perfect understanding. Walk in my gentle wisdom, and watch how the heavy, suffocating pressure of trying to control everything completely melts away. My child, you are crying out to me for a massive, life-altering miracle. I hear your desperate prayers. You want the heavy, dark skies to part. You want the crippling debt to be instantly erased. You want the painful family tension to vanish overnight. And you want that job promotion to just effortlessly fall right into your lap. You are waiting for a spectacular, cinematic display of my power. But I need you to understand how I often work. Many of the greatest, most profound miracles you pray for are quietly waiting right on the other side of your simple obedience. I frequently wrap my most massive miracles inside tiny, seemingly mundane, everyday instructions. You are looking for a loud earthquake, but I am giving you a quiet, specific whisper. Remember the story of Peter. He was an expert, professional fisherman. He was completely exhausted, having worked the entire, grueling night, and he had caught absolutely nothing. His nets were empty, just like your efforts often feel completely empty and useless. I did not instantly make a million fish spontaneously jump into his boat. Instead, I gave him a very small, almost foolish command: cast the net on the right side of the boat. It defied his logic and challenged his professional pride. But because he simply listened and obeyed that one small instruction, he pulled in a harvest so massive that the nets began to aggressively tear. The miracle was deeply hidden inside the instruction. My voice often carries a very small command that directly leads to a massive, life-changing breakthrough. You are constantly asking me for the finished end, but I am graciously giving you the very beginning step. I might tell you to send a short, encouraging text message to someone who deeply hurt you. I might instruct you to wake up just 15 minutes earlier to sit with me in the quiet pause before the frantic storm of your day breaks. I might whisper for you to give away a specific amount of money when you feel completely broke. Do not proudly despise the small steps. I command you to cast your net exactly where I tell you to. Take the very first step in total faith. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing comes by the exact word I speak directly to you. Do not miss the supernatural, overflowing provision of God simply because you were stubbornly waiting for something far more grand. Obey the quiet whisper today, and I promise I will thoroughly shock you with the abundant harvest I bring forth. My beloved, I just revealed how your massive miracles are beautifully hidden inside my quiet, daily instructions, and now I have a specific, powerful instruction just for you. I am personally inviting you to bravely cast your net right now to help boldly broadcast my pleading voice across the entire, hurting earth. By aggressively supporting this vital ministry with a super thanks, a membership, or a donation through the PayPal link below, you are actively throwing a desperate lifeline to terrified souls completely drowning in the world's exhausting noise. Your generous seed is the pure, holy oil that violently keeps this massive lamp burning, ensuring my wandering sheep can clearly find their way back to the shepherd's fold. Do not proudly despise this small step. Your immediate obedience and giving today is the exact, supernatural key I will use to unlock a staggering, massive harvest in someone else's broken life. For I strongly declare to you right now, he who sows bountifully will also reap a massive, overflowing, undeniably bountiful harvest directly from my own hand. As you faithfully water others with your unselfish giving, I promise to deeply water your own dry soul, aggressively rebuke the devourer for your sake, and completely multiply your heavenly reward. Obey this quiet whisper immediately. Click the link or the button right now, and confidently sow your seed into this eternal kingdom work. Beloved, are you tempted to scroll away? Are you letting the frantic, exhausting rush of your day suddenly steal this holy moment? It pierces my heart with deep, aching sorrow when you stand on the exact edge of a massive, miraculous breakthrough, and then suddenly turn your back on me. Do not let the vicious enemy frantically snatch these vital, life-saving instructions from your mind. Hold on tightly to my words. Stay right here in my safe presence, for the most crucial, life-altering commands are still to come. My precious one, let us sit down together and speak plainly about the deep, hidden fear that is secretly controlling your life. You actively hide from my voice because you are terrified that I will ask you for something you simply cannot give. You feel that tight, sickening knot in your stomach when you think about totally surrendering to me. You think I will demand that you completely give up your cherished dreams, move away from your comfortable home, or embrace a life of absolute misery and poverty. You clutch your life, your career, and your relationship so tightly that your knuckles are turning white. You are so afraid of the unknown future. But listen to my voice right now. That intense fear is a blatant, vicious liar. It paints me as a cruel, demanding tyrant rather than your deeply loving, eternal provider. I never, ever call the fully equipped. I lovingly and perfectly equip those who are called and who boldly choose to listen. If I ask you to step into a new, terrifying role at your job, I will instantly provide the exact wisdom and stamina you need to completely conquer it. If I ask you to walk away from a toxic relationship that is quietly destroying you, I will directly supply the immense comfort and healing to mend your broken heart. My yoke is truly easy, and my burden is wonderfully light. This is the exact opposite of what the enemy constantly whispers in your ear. The world's crushing yoke, the endless hustle, the exhausting people-pleasing, the desperate climbing of the corporate ladder, is what is actually destroying your peace. It is breaking your back. Whatever I ask you to bravely give up is only ever to make the necessary room for something vastly, infinitely better. You are holding onto a cheap, broken piece of glass, and you are terrified to drop it, while I am standing right in front of you holding a flawless, priceless diamond. Release your tight, exhausting grip. I command you to step out of the dark shadows of your paralyzing fear. Trust me enough to listen to the hard things, for they always lead to abundant life. Do not run from my specific call on your life. Let go of the heavy control. Give me the heavy, unspoken tensions in your family. Give me your deep, secret fears of failing. I will never ask you to do something without giving you the exact, supernatural strength to accomplish it. Trust my fatherly heart. Lean completely into my absolute authority, and watch how beautifully I transform your willing surrender into a brilliant, victorious life. My child, Listen very closely to me as I explain something that often causes you deep pain and confusion. I want to talk to you about the sharp, sometimes painful process of being pruned. I love metaphors, and they are incredibly helpful in making complex, difficult ideas much easier to understand and remember. Imagine you are a beautiful, green vine planted in a rich vineyard. A vine that is never trimmed. A vine that is allowed to just grow wildly in every single direction, cannot ever reach its maximum fruit-bearing capacity. It wastes all its precious energy on dead branches and useless leaves. When I speak a word of correction into your life, when I close a door you desperately wanted to walk through, it is simply the loving gardener's shears removing the dead weight. You feel the sharp sting of that cut, and you cry out, thinking I am punishing you. You think I am angry, but I am not angry. I am meticulously, carefully preparing you for a massive harvest. I see the pressure at your job, and I see how you are stretching yourself entirely too thin, trying to please everyone around you. You are exhausted. I have to step in and cut away the excess. I beg you to listen to me so that the wild, untamed parts of your character do not completely kill the beautiful fruit I am trying to grow inside you. You have habits, you have deep-seated fears, and you have toxic relationships that are quietly draining your life force. When I remove a person from your life, or when a job opportunity suddenly falls through, do not fall into despair. Do not let that familiar, heavy knot form in your stomach. That is just me pruning your branches. I know that pruning hurts deeply for a short season. It stings, but it absolutely guarantees a rich, heavy harvest of righteousness and peace in your future. Embrace the sharp sting of my pure truth, for it deeply heals you, while the loud, sweet flattery of the world slowly kills you. We naturally pay far more attention to strong contrasts, so let this difference stick in your memory. The world flatters to use you, but I correct you to entirely free you. You are my prized workmanship. You are my masterpiece. Allow me the absolute freedom to refine you. Stop fighting my shears. I command you to surrender the parts of your life that you know are dead. Drop the endless scrolling that kills your time. Drop the need to constantly prove your worth to people who overlook you. Look at your life right now. What feels heavy? What feels like it is draining your joy? Give it to me. Let me cut it away. I will never cut too deep. I will never harm the root. I am carefully shaping you so that you can hold the incredible weight of the blessings I am preparing to pour out upon you. Trust the gardener. Breathe in deeply, accept the correction, and watch how brilliantly you will bloom in the coming season. My beloved, I want you to look back for just a moment. Look at the generations that came before you. Look at the earthly fathers and mothers who completely refused to listen to my voice and painfully suffered the heavy consequences. You carry unspoken tensions in your family right now. You carry the heavy, invisible baggage of ancestral anger, deep-seated anxiety, and bitter resentment. I see how you react when you are triggered. I see the sudden flash of temper that looks exactly like your father's. I see the deep, isolating fear of abandonment that mirrors your mother's. But hear me clearly today. You absolutely do not have to repeat the sins, the mistakes, and the painful cycles of your family history. You do not have to walk the same broken, dusty road they walked. My gentle voice offers you a completely new way that permanently breaks those heavy ancestral chains and shatters those dark spiritual bonds. Simply repeating a powerful truth will give it much more attention and make it deeply embedded in your mind. So hear this truth again and again. You are free. You are free. You are free. Listening to me is the master key to creating an entirely new, beautiful legacy for your own children. You are terrified of passing down your trauma. You are terrified of making the exact same mistakes. I command you to hand that terrifying fear over to me right now. Do not let your painful history dictate your bright future when I am standing here offering you a completely new covenant. The blood I shed for you is vastly more powerful than the genetics you inherited. I am directly calling you to be the brave remnant in your family line that actively chooses to hear and instantly obey. It stops with you. The cycle of poverty stops with you. The cycle of divorce stops with you. The cycle of screaming matches and silent treatments stops completely with you. But you cannot break these massive, heavy chains using your own finite, exhausted willpower. You must listen to my specific instructions. When the argument is escalating in your living room, listen for my voice whispering, "Walk away." Be gentle. Speak softly. When you feel the familiar urge to shut down and isolate yourself, listen to my command to reach out and be vulnerable. I will guide you out of the generational wilderness. Step into the light of my grace. Choose to be the completely new branch on your family tree, and watch how I restore the years that the locusts have eaten. My precious child, imagine the incredibly sweet, comforting smell of fresh rain falling on dry earth, or the warm scent of bread baking in an oven. Using powerful imagination is entirely more personal and deeply memorable than just seeing a picture. There is a very real, spiritual sweetness in your soul that immediately follows the clear leading of my spirit. When you choose to obey me, even when it is incredibly difficult, your daily life actually becomes a beautiful, living sacrifice. You carry a distinct, undeniable atmosphere around with you. When you walk into your high-pressure job, when you sit down in that stressful board meeting, people will immediately see and feel a profound difference in you that they simply cannot explain with human logic. They will notice your unnatural calm. They will notice that you do not panic when the deadlines shift. Obedience creates a pure, clean atmosphere where my holy presence can dwell comfortably right inside your heart. You want to feel me closer. You want to know I am deeply involved in your day. Then do what I ask you to do. To quietly listen and obey is to offer me the absolute highest, purest form of worship possible on this earth. It is better than any song you could ever sing. Your obedience says to me, I trust you more than I trust my own understanding. The sweet scent of a completely surrendered life naturally draws broken, hurting people directly toward the brilliant light of my eternal kingdom. You wonder why strangers suddenly open up to you in the grocery store. You wonder why your overwhelmed coworker comes to your desk crying, asking for advice. It is because they smell the fragrance of my peace resting heavily upon you. I command you to live your life today as a sweet, pleasing offering. Stop separating your spiritual life from your normal life. Your completely ordinary Tuesday is deeply spiritual to me. The way you patiently answer an annoying email, the way you lovingly speak to your tired spouse, the way you honestly handle your finances, these are all massive acts of worship. I invite you to ask me for guidance in the very small, mundane details of your morning. Let my voice dictate your reactions. Do not react with the world's bitter anger. React with my unnatural, shocking grace. Let the deep peace of heaven absolutely saturate your mind, and you will completely change the temperature of every single room you ever walk into. My beloved, I want to talk about the terrifying storms that suddenly violently crash into your life. 1 minute the water is perfectly calm, and the next minute, you get a terrible phone call. The test results are bad. The company is downsizing. The relationship is suddenly ending. When the massive, dark waves rise high above your head, and you feel like you are entirely drowning in panic, the only thing that actually matters is the powerful, authoritative peace. Be still that I speak over your chaotic life. I command the raging winds, and they immediately obey me. But hear this very crucial truth. If you have not diligently practiced listening to my gentle voice in the calm, ordinary days, you will really struggle to hear me howling over the roaring wind in the middle of your darkest storm. My steady voice is the heavy, unbreakable anchor that completely keeps you from being violently tossed to and fro by your intense anxiety. I want you to remember the quiet pause right before a massive storm breaks. I want you to take a very deep breath right now, before you face whatever challenge is waiting for you this afternoon. I am completely in the boat with you. I am not standing safely on the distant shore watching you drown. I am right beside you, but you absolutely must be still enough in your spirit to clearly hear my strategic counsel. The massive storm you are facing today is absolutely not meant to sink you. It is specifically meant to boldly prove the complete, undeniable reliability of my holy word. Your entire survival, your mental health, and your emotional stability completely depend on strictly following the exact coordinates I give you right in the middle of the howling gale. When the panic tells you to furiously swim harder, I might tell you to just float and rest. When the fear tells you to aggressively fight back and defend your reputation, I might explicitly command you to remain completely silent and let me fight your painful battle for you. I command you to immediately anchor yourself in my promises. Stop looking at the terrifying size of the crashing waves and look directly into my calm, steady eyes. I have never, ever lost a single child to the deep waters, and I certainly will not lose you. Listen for my voice in the rain. I am forcefully commanding your current storm to break, and I am safely leading you toward the bright, peaceful morning. My precious child, just as my voice is your unbreakable anchor in the terrifying, chaotic storms of life, I need you to help me actively throw that exact anchor to those who are violently sinking. I am directly calling your willing heart to powerfully partner with me in loudly declaring peace. Be still over a generation completely paralyzed by heavy, suffocating anxiety. When you boldly choose to give a super thanks, become a channel member, or use the PayPal link in the description, you are funding the lifeboats that fiercely rescue deeply shattered people from drowning in total despair. Your financial sacrifice is the heavy, unbreakable rope I use to aggressively pull the utterly lost out of the raging, dark, and deadly waters. This exact moment is a highly prophetic, urgent divine appointment. There is a desperately terrified soul whose survival entirely depends on the message your generosity will fiercely amplify today. Hear me clearly. Cast your bread upon these massive, roaring waters, and I swear you will absolutely find it again after many days, completely multiplied and overflowing. Because you have intentionally chosen to fiercely protect my sheep, I will forcefully build a massive wall of fire around your family, deeply command the storm over your finances to break, and aggressively pour out unmerited favor upon your life. Step out of the boat right now, boldly give your offering, and actively join me in powerfully calming the fierce storms of this broken world. My precious one, do not abruptly leave the safety of this boat. To casually shut out my voice now, right in the middle of our deep, healing dialogue, would cause me immense, heartbreaking disappointment. I am meticulously, carefully charting your safe path through the terrifying, dark waves of your current season. If you walk away from this divine encounter now, you are willfully choosing the blinding, chaotic storm over my perfect, steady peace. Lean in closer. The deepest, most profound secrets of my eternal heart are about to be fully revealed to you. My child, I created you for deep, rich, intimate fellowship, not just for cold, religious, dewy, or exhausting performance. I do not want your mindless rituals. I do not want you checking a religious box on your to-do list just so you can feel a false sense of spiritual accomplishment. Prayer is a two-way dialogue. It is a real conversation. If you are constantly doing all of the rapid, frantic talking, you are totally failing to listen. You bring me your long, exhausting lists of desperate demands, and then you quickly rush off to start your busy day. But I long to patiently share the very deep, hidden secrets of my loving heart with those who are willing to just sit and wait upon me. Listening to me is a profound, beautiful act of love that clearly says, your divine thoughts matter infinitely more than my frantic worries. As you learn to truly listen, our relationship beautifully matures. It shifts from the cold, distant dynamic of a master and servant to the warm, unbreakable bond of a father and friend. This is a massive contrast that changes everything about how you live. You no longer obey me out of a crippling fear of punishment. You obey me because you deeply trust my character. You obey me because we are walking side by side. I see how you long for a friend who truly understands the massive pressure you are under. I am that perfect friend. I completely understand the deep, unspoken pain of feeling totally overlooked by your peers. I beg you to listen to me today simply because I deeply, genuinely enjoy the quiet time spent with you. I am not trying to constantly fix you. Sometimes, I just want to comfortably sit with you. I invite you to start your morning differently tomorrow. Before you touch your phone, before you let the heavy stress of your job instantly crush your chest, just sit in the quiet. Say to me, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." Ask me how I feel about you. Ask me what I am doing in the unseen background of your messy life. Let us talk like two close friends sitting quietly on a porch. I have so many incredibly beautiful, comforting things I desperately want to tell you about your future. Just be still, open your exhausted heart, and let me fiercely love you through the powerful, healing sound of my voice. My precious child, you are constantly bombarded by voices from every direction. You hear the loud demands of your boss, the subtle expectations of your family, and the harsh, critical voice inside your own head. But you must understand that not every voice in your mind is mine. The enemy of your soul masquerades as an angel of light with a voice of deep, paralyzing confusion. He does not always come to you with obvious evil. He comes with subtle lies wrapped up in reasonable logic. He points out the overwhelming pressure at your job and tells you that you must compromise your peace to succeed. He highlights the unspoken tensions in your family and whispers that the brokenness is all your fault. Do you feel that tight, sickening knot in your stomach when you listen to those thoughts? That heavy anxiety is absolutely not from me. Let us undo it together right now. I command you to test the voices you hear. My voice will never, ever contradict the written word I have already provided for you. If a voice brings a heavy blanket of condemnation and shame instead of a gentle, hopeful conviction, it is definitively not mine. We pay more attention to contrasts, so I want you to see this difference clearly so it sticks longer in your memory. Condemnation violently pushes you down into the dirt and tells you that you are permanently ruined. But my conviction gently pulls you out from the mud and shows you the clear path to forgiveness. Condemnation locks you in a cold, dark cellar of your own mind. My gentle voice throws open the heavy doors and floods the room with warm, morning light. Learning the exact tone of my spirit requires consistent, daily time in my presence. You cannot instantly recognize the voice of a stranger. You recognize the voice of your closest friend because you spend hours with them. Do not be led astray by the itching ears of modern, feel-good doctrines that tell you exactly what your flesh wants to hear. The world will flatter you to keep you comfortable, but true love will always correct you to keep you safe. The true Spirit of God will always point you directly toward the cross, toward deep humility, and toward absolute holiness. Listen to me right now. Take a deep breath. Stand still in the quiet pause before a storm breaks. I am the absolute truth in a world full of loud, exhausting lies. When you feel completely overlooked by your peers, the enemy whispers that you are worthless. but I loudly declare that you are carefully chosen, deeply loved, and infinitely valuable. I want you to vividly imagine sitting trapped in a cold, dark cellar where you cannot see a thing and you are shivering. This is what the enemy's voice does to your spirit. It paralyzes you with the fear of the future. It makes you feel entirely alone. Then, suddenly, you feel something moving at your feet, and panic takes over. But you do not have to live in that dark, terrifying imagination. I am the light of the world. I am forcefully breaking the heavy locks on your mental prison. I command you to shut out the counterfeit noise. Step out into the warmth of my truth. Bring every single thought to me, and I will show you if it is real or fake. Trust my steady, peaceful tone. Follow the voice that brings you profound rest. My beloved one, look closely at the hurting people all around you. There is a whole world dying in deep spiritual darkness while you hesitate and wait for the perfect time to hear my orders. I see you sitting there, completely absorbed by the massive pressure at your job and the endless pursuit of your own comfort. I have intentionally placed specific people in your daily path whose eternal peace directly depends on your willing obedience today. I am begging you to listen right now because the harvest is incredibly plentiful, but the workers are entirely distracted. You are endlessly scrolling on your phone, comparing your life to strangers, while the person sitting in the cubicle next to you is silently drowning in despair. You are my hands and feet on this earth, but your hands and feet absolutely must be directed by the head. I can't effectively use you to heal the unspoken tensions in your family if you refuse to take your instructions from me. I command you to wake up to the urgent reality of your true calling. Every single moment spent in stubborn deafness is a precious moment permanently lost for the kingdom's sake. Realize today that your life is a vital part of a much larger, sweeping global redemptive story. You are not just here to pay off your mortgage, survive the exhausting work week, and briefly entertain yourself on the weekends. You are heavily armed for a massive spiritual battle. Listen to my specific call. Step completely out of your narrow, self-focused worldview. When you walk into your office tomorrow, do not just see annoying coworkers and stressful deadlines. See deeply broken souls who desperately need the profound peace that you currently carry inside you. Your simple obedience could be the exact lifeline I use to save a failing marriage. Your bold willingness to speak my truth could completely shatter the heavy chains of depression holding your friend captive. Simply repeating a powerful phrase will give it more attention and make it embedded in your spirit. So hear this clearly. Never, never, never give up on the mission I have assigned to you. I declare that you are a highly anointed ambassador of my kingdom. I am directly sending you into the messy, complicated lives of the people you know. Do not wait until you feel perfectly qualified. I will equip your mouth with the exact words to say the moment you boldly open it. Do you feel that sudden tug in your heart right now? That is my Holy Spirit deeply activating your compassion. I see your hidden fear of the future, and I know you constantly worry that you do not have enough energy to help yourself, let alone someone else. But I promise you this, when you pour out your life for others, I will completely fill your own cup to overflowing. The very healing you are frantically searching for will suddenly manifest while you are busy washing the feet of your neighbor. Drop your heavy, exhausting excuses. I am calling your name. I am commissioning you today. Rise up, listen closely to my specific directions, and let us bring brilliant light to this deeply hurting world together. My deeply wounded child, I want to talk to you about the massive, undeniable power of what I say. My words are not just cold, dead information written on thin paper. They are living spirit and they are eternal life. One single word from my mouth can instantly heal a deep, painful trauma that years of counseling and human therapy simply could not touch. I clearly see the hidden wounds that you try so desperately to cover up with your shiny external success. You dress well, you perform flawlessly at your job, and you smile brightly for your family, but inside, you feel completely shattered. You carry the heavy, unspoken tensions from your past, and they quietly bleed into your present life every single day. Let my gentle voice directly wash over your exhausted mind like a cool, cleansing, renewing stream of pure water. To truly listen to me is to invite the great, almighty physician into the deepest, darkest corridors of your internal world. My word is a powerful, active medicine. I command you to take it daily to successfully maintain the health of your fragile soul. You are constantly consuming the toxic, chaotic noise of the news and social media, and then you wonder why your spirit feels entirely sick and anxious. You are aggressively poisoning your own peace. Stop feeding your deep fears. Start aggressively feeding your faith. I speak directly to the profound fear of being overlooked that constantly haunts your quiet moments. Hear my divine declaration over your life right now. You are fully seen. I see every single tear you have ever cried in secret. I see the massive effort you put into holding your broken family together. When the world completely ignores your hard work, I am standing right beside you, honoring your massive sacrifice. I am specifically applying the soothing balm of my grace to your deepest insecurities. I want you to completely let down your heavy, defensive guard right now. You do not have to fiercely protect yourself when you are resting safely inside my powerful arms. You feel the heavy knot in your chest beginning to slowly loosen. That is the miraculous healing power of my actual presence. My words actively rewrite the deeply broken narratives in your mind. Where the enemy violently wrote failure, I firmly write redeemed. Where the world coldly wrote rejected, I boldly write chosen. I invite you to boldly open the Bible tomorrow morning, not as a dry, historical textbook, but as a deeply personal love letter written directly to your exhausted heart. Read it slowly. Let the ancient words absolutely saturate your dry bones. I command you to actively replace the vicious, hateful lies in your head with the profound beauty of my spoken truth. Every single time that familiar voice of deep self-hatred tries to rise up and ruin your day, I want you to instantly stop and remember my exact promises. I have promised to violently fight for you. I have promised to completely restore your broken soul. You are an intricate, stunning masterpiece. Do not let the dirty, clumsy hands of the world try to violently repaint the beautiful picture I have carefully crafted. Breathe in my overwhelming love right now. Let it entirely fill the empty, aching spaces inside your chest. My healing word is permanently yours. My remarkably intelligent child, we must address a very subtle, dangerous trap that is currently completely blocking your spiritual growth. Do not proudly think that simply because you know the Bible, or because you can easily quote scriptures, you are genuinely listening to me. The ancient Pharisees knew every single letter of the religious scriptures, yet they completely failed to recognize the living word when I stood right directly in front of their faces. You do this too. You aggressively analyze my word with your sharp brain, but you firmly lock it completely out of your actual heart. You rely entirely on your own human logic to fiercely navigate the massive pressure at your job and the heavy tensions in your home. I literally beg you to listen with your soft spirit, not just your cold, calculating, analytical mind. Humility is the exact, specific frequency upon which my Holy Spirit communicates most clearly. If you approach me secretly thinking you already have all the complex answers, you are entirely deaf to my gentle guidance. Lay down your impressive degrees, lay down your rigid theology, and lay down your desperate need to be absolutely right all the time. If your vast knowledge has actually become a thick, heavy brick wall between you and my presence, it is completely useless to you. I command you to immediately tear that heavy wall down. Be exactly as a little, dependent child, for to such pure, trusting hearts fully belongs the eternal kingdom and its most profound revelations. A little child does not try to intellectually outsmart their father. They simply trust that their father deeply loves them and knows the safe way home. You are furiously trying to strategize your way out of your deep anxiety. You are constantly reading endless self-help books to fix the heavy knot in your stomach. Stop relying on your finite human intellect. It will completely fail you when the massive storms of life truly hit your shores. I invite you to boldly step into the beautiful mystery of my unexplainable, supernatural peace. I declare that my ways are vastly higher than your human ways. Whenever we personalize a concept, we tend to generate much more human interest. So let me make this deeply personal for you right now. I care infinitely more about the genuine softness of your heart than I care about the sheer volume of your religious knowledge. I want you. I do not want a theological debate with you. I want a deeply intimate relationship with you. I command you to actively surrender your exhausting need to constantly figure everything out. I want you to take a deep, long breath and completely release your desperate grip on needing to control all the outcomes. The deep fear of the unknown future is exactly what violently drives your exhausting intellectual pride. You think that if you can just perfectly predict every single variable, you will finally be safe. But safety is absolutely not found in your own limited understanding. Safety is exclusively found in my eternal, unchanging character. Stop researching your problems to death. Start quietly bringing them directly to my throne. I am the all-knowing creator of the universe. I already have the exact, perfect solution to the massive problem that is keeping you awake at night. Quiet your racing, exhausted mind, open your humble spirit, and simply listen. My intelligent child, I have asked you to lay down your exhausting human logic and simply trust me. Now I am asking you to boldly demonstrate that pure, childlike faith. I am warmly inviting you to humbly partner with my spirit to forcefully echo my gentle whisper into the cold, intensely analytical, and deeply broken corners of this earth. By giving an immediate super thanks, securing a channel membership, or clicking the PayPal link in the description, you are actively tearing down the heavy, intellectual brick walls that keep desperate people entirely separated from my eternal love. Your gift is the fresh, living water poured directly onto the incredibly dry, calloused, and aggressively hardened soil of modern human pride. Do not aggressively overthink this specific, holy prompting. This is a profoundly urgent, massive kingdom assignment requiring your immediate, unhesitating surrender. I boldly promise you, honor me deeply with your wealth and with the very first fruits of all your produce, and your barns will be violently filled with unimaginable plenty. As you completely humble yourself to generously support my word, I will aggressively elevate your absolute peace, fiercely defend your mind from exhausting anxiety, and profoundly bless the heavy labor of your hands. Act simply, act boldly, and act right now. Release your generous gift today and forcefully help me awaken the spiritually dead. Child, pay complete, undivided attention to me in this exact second. It absolutely crushes my spirit when you finally quiet your exhausted, anxious mind, only to abruptly let the demanding, toxic world forcefully drag you away again. Never, never, never give up on this rare moment of pure, uninterrupted intimacy. You are so incredibly, breathtakingly close to the radical, complete transformation you have been desperately begging me for. Do not dare silence your Creator now. Let me finish deeply healing your beautiful, fragile soul. My most precious one, I want to wrap this absolute truth completely around your shivering, exhausted shoulders. I am fully with you always, even to the very end of the age. Listen closely for me. You are absolutely never, ever truly alone, even though the cruel enemy desperately tries to completely isolate your fragile heart. The world can be an incredibly lonely place. I see you sitting in a crowded room, totally surrounded by people, yet feeling entirely invisible and deeply overlooked. I see you staring blankly at the ceiling in the middle of the dark night, completely crushed by the intense fear of your future. In those exact, terrifying moments, I am right there. My steady, gentle voice permanently provides a deep, unwavering companionship that absolutely no human relationship could ever possibly match. When you are desperately lonely, I command you to simply stop and listen. I am quietly whispering massive, unbreakable promises of my eternal faithfulness directly into your ear. I speak to you constantly. I speak through the breathtaking, vibrant colors of the evening sunset. I speak through the sudden, comforting scripture that suddenly pops into your frantic mind. I speak through the still, small voice that gently guides your decisions when the pressure at your job feels totally unbearable. The more you intentionally practice listening to me, the more you will absolutely realize that I have never, ever been silent in your life. I declare over you right now that my glorious presence is your permanent, safe home. You do not have to frantically perform to earn my attention. You do not have to aggressively shout to make me hear your prayers. I am entirely closer to you than the very breath in your lungs. Do you feel that deep, quiet pause before you take your next step? That is me standing patiently with you. I am actively walking with you through the deeply painful, unspoken tensions in your family. I am sitting right next to you during your most stressful, demanding meetings. I am aggressively guarding your vulnerable mind while you sleep. I invite you to continuously practice the constant awareness of my loving presence today. Do not just blindly relegate me to Sunday mornings or brief, frantic prayers when you are in massive trouble. Talk to me while you are casually driving your car. Talk to me while you are quietly washing the dishes. I eagerly want to be fully involved in the seemingly boring, ordinary, mundane details of your exact Tuesday afternoon. Let my profound, unending comfort completely wash away your deep, isolating anxiety. You are fiercely, fiercely loved. You are heavily protected. You are permanently mine. I want you to literally feel the heavy, comforting weight of my peace settling directly over your physical body right now. Let the tense muscles in your neck completely relax. Let the shallow, panicked breathing slow down into a deep, steady rhythm. You have been carrying the massive weight of the world for far too long. I command you to drop it entirely at my feet. You do not have to aggressively fight your terrifying battles all by yourself anymore. I am your fierce defender, your close friend, and your eternal Father. Whenever you feel that sudden, sharp spike of anxiety trying to loudly steal your joy, immediately call out my name. Just violently whisper, Jesus, and instantly remember that the Creator of all the stars is holding your trembling hand. Listen to my voice. I'm here. My perfectly loved child, we need to talk about the heat. I want to explain exactly what is happening when your life feels incredibly hard and uncomfortable. I love using clear metaphors or analogies because they are really helpful in making complex, difficult ideas much easier to understand and to truly remember. My word is exactly like a massive, roaring fire. I want you to truly understand this. It is a holy fire that intentionally burns away the heavy dross and the dark impurities of your exhausted character. When you feel that tight, sickening knot in your stomach because the pressure at your job is rising, or when the unspoken tensions in your family suddenly explode into an argument, you think I am totally abandoning you. You think the fire is going to completely destroy you. But I am absolutely not destroying you. I am meticulously, carefully refining you. I beg you to clearly listen to me during these painful moments so that you can come forth shining like pure, perfect, flawless gold. You are highly capable, and I clearly see that you are very able, but right now, you are acting as your own worst enemy. You are full of deep self-doubt and self-limiting beliefs about your own future. You are exactly like a powerful, incredibly fast Ferrari driving down the highway with the handbrake firmly pulled up. You have massive power, but you are entirely self-limiting. The intense heat of my truth is specifically designed to burn away those heavy brakes. I test you. The testing often comes to see if you will tightly hold on to the exact promises I told you in the bright light when you are suddenly plunged into the terrifying dark. Do not stubbornly run from the heat of my clear truth. It is specifically meant to make you shine brilliantly. The loud, sweet flattery of the world completely kills your spirit, but the sharp, honest sting of my truth deeply heals you. I want you to heavily tap into the power of your imagination and your fantasy right now. We do not strictly need our physical eyes to clearly see deep spiritual things. Imagine you are sitting totally trapped in a cold, completely dark cellar. You cannot see a single thing. You are shivering violently from the cold. Then, you feel something terrifying moving right at your feet, and massive panic completely takes over your mind. The terrifying cellar is exactly what your life is like when you aggressively let your deep anxiety and your fear of the future entirely control you. My voice is the blazing, warm fire that instantly lights up that dark cellar. It burns away the freezing cold. Purity is absolutely not a heavy, exhausting burden for you to carry. It is the bright, clear pathway to seeing me more clearly. Let my voice be the exact, perfect standard by which you measure every single thought, every hidden fear, and every daily deed. Listen to the fire, let it burn away your heavy stress, and step entirely into the warm light. My absolutely precious one, I completely see how incredibly hard you are working. I see you aggressively chasing the applause of your boss, entirely desperate for a tiny scrap of human validation. But I must boldly tell you a massive truth. There is a huge, eternal reward completely reserved for those who diligently, quietly seek and listen to their Heavenly Father. Your absolute greatest, deepest satisfaction in this short life will never, ever come from an earthly promotion, and it will never come from getting more money in your bank account. It will absolutely come entirely from hearing me clearly say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." I beg you to deeply listen to me because I desperately want to officially crown your completely ordinary, messy life with massive, eternal significance. I want you to look at a very sharp contrast. The heavy applause of the world directly contrasts with the direct opposite, which is the eternal approval of your Creator. You naturally pay much more attention to strong contrasts, so I want this specific truth to permanently stick much longer in your daily memory. Earthly applause is totally temporary. It completely fades away by tomorrow morning. The exact same peers who praise you today will entirely overlook you tomorrow. But my divine approval is permanently secured for all of eternity. Why are you completely exhausting yourself trying to please broken, hurting people who cannot even fix their own lives? Stop running on that endless, exhausting treadmill. Stop letting the heavy fear of human rejection dictate your daily choices. I command you to drastically simplify your life today. Living exclusively for my voice completely simplifies your daily schedule and entirely focuses your scattered, frantic energy. When your only massive goal is to simply listen and obey me, you do not have to nervously worry about what everyone else is secretly thinking about you. Simply repeating a powerful word will give it vastly more attention, and it will make it completely embedded and easy to remember in your spirit. So hear this clearly: joy, joy, joy. The absolute, unshakable joy of the Lord is found entirely in the dead center of my spoken and written will. When you stop striving, When you finally drop the heavy burden of people-pleasing, you will firmly step into a massive, overwhelming joy that makes absolutely no logical sense to the outside world. I promise you a peace that entirely passes all human understanding. Listen to my voice right now. Turn off the loud, demanding noise of human expectations, and boldly step directly into the permanent joy of my eternal, fatherly approval. My beloved child, I want to lift your heavy, tired eyes up from the dirty ground for just a moment. You are entirely suffocated by the massive pressure at your job, the bills you have to pay, and the unspoken tensions in your family. You are intensely focused on surviving your Tuesday afternoon. But I am aggressively preparing a beautiful, permanent place for you, and even more importantly, I am carefully preparing you for that exact place. You desperately feel like you do not belong here because you absolutely do not belong here. You are completely a citizen of heaven. The specific, beautiful language of heaven is one of perfect, unbroken, continuous resonance with my Holy Spirit. Learning to clearly listen to me right now, in the middle of your stressful, messy life, is simply your daily practice for the massive, eternal worship that is to come. I speak to you directly to forcefully pull your exhausted gaze away from the temporary, fading things of this earth and point it entirely toward the eternal, unbreakable reality of my kingdom. I use clear exaggeration to make my point completely memorable for you. The world loudly tells you, I love you to the moon and back, which is an extreme, usual exaggeration. But I am telling you an absolute truth that is completely unreal to the human mind but absolutely real in heaven. I love you to the cross, entirely through the empty grave, and directly into eternity. My love for you has absolutely no boundaries, no limits, and no end. Do not be so incredibly rooted in the heavy mud of this temporary earth that you totally forget your actual, true identity. You are completely royalty. You are my child. When the intense fear of the future grabs your chest, remember that your ultimate future is already completely secured and perfectly sealed by my own hand. I have already written the final, victorious chapter of your exact story. My gentle voice is the sturdy, unbreakable bridge firmly suspended between your current, painful reality and your future, brilliant glory. I command you to actively walk across that bridge today. Stop building temporary, weak sandcastles on a beach that is about to be washed away. Invest your precious, limited time in truly listening to the eternal God. Your current pain is incredibly short, but the coming glory is massively, infinitely long. Take a very deep breath. Stand up completely straight. You are firmly going to heaven. So start practicing the quiet, peaceful language of your true home right now. My utterly precious child, we have come to the very end of this specific conversation, but this is absolutely just the clear beginning of our entirely new relationship. I have spoken directly to you. I have openly pleaded with you. I have clearly shown you the exact, safe way of abundant life. The ball is entirely in your court right now, my child. Will you actively choose to completely tune your exhausted, fearful heart directly to mine? I permanently stand ready to instantly lead you into a brilliant, completely free life that is entirely beyond your wildest, most extreme imagination. This is absolutely not just a typed script or a passing motivational message. It is a direct, urgent, holy call to your very spirit. I want you to use a very powerful tool to remember this exact moment. Alliteration beautifully creates a much higher impact on the listener and directly makes the exact message far more memorable. Listen to this short, sharp shock of truth. You must completely choose to constantly communicate with your Creator. Come to me right now, all of you who are completely weary. You are entirely exhausted from carrying the heavy, unspoken tensions in your family. You are completely drained from desperately trying to prove your worth at your job. You feel totally overlooked and entirely forgotten. Bring all of that heavy, sickening anxiety directly to me. I strongly command you to just drop the heavy bags right here at my feet. Simply and quietly hear that I am God. I want to use the exact, massive power of repetition one last time, because repeating the exact phrase will solidly embed it in your tired mind. Never, never, never give up on turning your face directly toward me. Never give up on completely seeking my voice in the quiet pause before the storm breaks. Never give up on my massive, unending grace. I absolutely love you with an everlasting, totally unbreakable love. There is nothing you could ever possibly do to make me deeply love you less, and there is absolutely nothing you could aggressively achieve to make me strictly love you more. You are entirely mine. And now, please stop running. Please, completely stop stressing over the unknown tomorrow. Listen to my beating heart. Take my deeply scarred hand. Step completely out of the loud, exhausting noise of the world, and walk closely with me into the beautiful, perfect, silent peace. I am permanently waiting for you, my utterly precious child, as you firmly make your final, unbreakable choice to eagerly tune your heart to mine. I ask you to boldly make one more massive, eternal decision. I am urgently calling you to aggressively link arms with me to forcefully broadcast this desperate, final invitation to millions who are entirely deaf to my love. When you firmly offer a super thanks, join as a dedicated member, or so through the PayPal link below, you are actively paying the high ransom to completely free exhausted captives from the world's deafening, toxic noise. Your generous financial seed is the holy, unquenchable fire that violently burns away the heavy dross, permanently lighting the dark path for the utterly lost to finally find their way home. The time is incredibly short, and the massive harvest is aggressively rotting in the fields. This is your urgent, divine appointment to radically fund the frontline workers of my kingdom. I stand before you and fiercely declare, bring the whole tithe and offering firmly into the storehouse, and test me completely in this, to see if I will not violently throw open the massive floodgates of heaven. Because you boldly choose to aggressively spread my pleading voice, I will permanently seal your future with profound joy, violently break every heavy financial chain holding you back, and aggressively multiply your seed 1,000 times over. Do not hesitate or close this message. Strictly follow my clear voice. Click to give right now, and firmly leave an eternal mark on this dying earth. Amen.